as we get everything set here on the X Space. John, I'm here with you. I know this is early in the pregame coverage, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Again, we're probably about 20 minutes or so away from puck drop as we continue to go across. And let me give you some of the starting lineups, and then I will break into some of the extra information that I have at least today. So for the Columbus Blue Jackets, they are 11-9-3 on the season. They are sixth in the Metro. However, they have been playing quite well of late. Dean Evason is recently the new head coach, the former Minnesota Wild man, and this team is starting to play very well. So on that first line all the way across is business per usual, Sean Monahan, Dmitri Voronkov, and Kirill Marchenko. There's Zach Werenski and Dante Fabro. It's Adam Fantilli, Cole Sillinger, and Kent Johnson. So it should be a line I know very well for the Michigan side. And we'll talk about Zach Werenski as well. He's played very well. Ivan Provorov and Damon Severson will be on the second line defense. Justin Danforth, Zach Aston Reese, Matthew Olivier, Sean Corrali, Kevin LeBanc, James Van Riemsdyk, I should say. So let's do that again. Danforth, Zach Aston Reese, Olivier, Corrali, JVR, and Kevin LeBanc. Jay Christensen and Jordan Harris will be the third line defense with Elvis Merzlikins in goal. And for Calgary, head coached by Ryan Huska, they are 12-9-4. They're fifth in the Pacific. The record is still good, but they need to start to pick it up a little bit. It's Nazem Kadri, Jonathan Huberdeau, Marty Pospisil with Kevin Ball and Rasmus Anderson, Michael Backlund, Igor Sharankovich, Matthew Coronado, Mackenzie Weegar, Daniil Miramanov, Connor Zary, Blake Coleman, Jacob Pelchier, Kevin Rooney, Ryan Lomberg, Andre Kuzmenko. That's what they have listed. I think we are going to see Walker Dewar draw into the lineup alongside Pelchier, so that should mix in a little bit of the third and fourth lines. But we do know Dan Vladar is going to get the start net today for Calgary. So again, as we mentioned, for Columbus, they've played pretty well of late. In the last few, they have 31 goals scored in the last 6 games, and that keeps their goaltending in check. Because when you think about Elvis, although he's been better of late, it's 8-5-2, 3-0-7, 8-9-4, and a shutout. So that's going to help them there as well. And 5 of the last 6, they got points in all of them. They defeated Boston, Tampa, Carolina, Calgary, and Chicago. Let's get into the ceremony. I'm going to turn this up.
Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Days later, the Sea of Red gathered to mourn together at a candlelight vigil on the steps of the Scotiabank Saddledome. On October 12th, as part of our home opener, we gathered once again to celebrate some of the amazing on-ice moments Johnny gave to us all. And tonight, as we welcome the Columbus Blue Jackets to the Scotiabank Saddledome for the 13th home game of our season, we would like to take one more opportunity to remember and pay tribute to the lives of Johnny and Matthew. To begin tonight's ceremony, we ask you to please turn your attention to the Sportsnet scoreboard for a very special video tribute to number 13, Johnny Gaudreau.
So they're going to get into the video tribute now. Again, it's hard to believe. It's actually home game number 13 on the season. I hope the people of Calgary can remember me not only as a hockey player, but as a good person with good values. Thank you for supporting me over the years and for making my family part of yours, Johnny Gaudreau. Getting his jersey as he first signed with the Flames. And now some walk out into the tunnel. George Canyon, who normally does the national anthem, he's getting a serenade right now on the ice in their video tribute. Very cool.
I like this card because I just scored a goal. Go, Johnny, go, go. Go, there you go, buddy. Go, go. Johnny be good. Johnny be good.
Sergei Gaudreau is going to be in the stands today alongside his family, mother, and everybody else. Everybody is in the Saddledome tonight. Now they have a camera shot on Guy and starting to cry, and I hope I don't as well. I'm going to try to keep it together. Now we get some highlights of Johnny early. Sam Bennett in the frame.
Go, Johnny, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go. Johnny be good.
Johnny Gaudreau with Sean Monahan on the Flames. And they were going to be teammates on the ice during the regular season for Columbus.
Johnny be good.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming members of Johnny and Matthew's extended family who are with us tonight. Now please turn your attention to the home bench as we're all members of Johnny and Matthew's immediate family to the ice for a very special ceremonial face-off. Johnny and Matthew's parents, Dean and Jane.
So Dean and Jane.
Dean and Kristen.
And then Kristen.
Johnny's wife, Meredith, and their children, Noah and Johnny Jr.
And then Meredith, his wife, Noah, and Johnny Jr. all on the ice for a ceremonial puck drop. That is awesome. And all the camera shots makes it difficult because there's not any dry eyes in these camera shots. It's starting to get to me as well. And now chance of Johnny.
In a show of unity, we'd now like to invite Columbus Blue Jackets and your Calgary Flames to join the Gaudreau family at center ice for tonight's ceremonial face-off, which will be taken by Sean Monahan and Michael Backlund.
So Sean Monahan and Michael Backlund will take the ceremonial draws as fitting as it should be.
Please turn on your cell phone flashlights, hold them high as we show our collective support for the Gaudreau family through light.
And everybody now has their cell phone cameras out with lights in the air.
For tonight's ceremonial face-off, the Gaudreau family will be using a beautiful hand-painted puck.
It's absolutely beautiful.
And named Madden. Left in tribute by Johnny on the steps of the Saddle Dome this past summer. To the Gaudreau family, on behalf of the Sea of Red, the Calgary Flames, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the National Hockey League, we continue to offer our deepest condolences. All together, Sea of Red, please join us in a moment of applause to show our love for Johnny, Matthew, and the entire Gaudreau family.
That was absolutely beautiful. And they showed a camera shot there of Sean Monahan, and he's hurting a little bit, as well as the rest of the hockey community alongside the family. Again, this is something that still impacts, not to throw myself in the story, but anyone who's a hockey fan or wants anything else, you feel it, you have to. Wow. Rasmus Anderson with Guy in the camera shot. And then former teammates, extended family members. Alongside Johnny, a lot of special people in the building tonight for this ceremony. And then Meredith and her family getting hugs from the Columbus players as well. Beautiful gesture. And Laney McDonald with Meredith.
Now ask for you please remain standing and remove your hats to join George Kenyon. Coming by Flames organist Werenski and members of the Calgary Fire Department in the performance of tonight's national anthem.
That was a beautiful ceremony. You got to admit, you're going to do that right. You're going to do it with class. They absolutely nailed it. I'm going to get into this too. Here for the Flames, as we just went through the ceremony. I'm glad to be able to get that one in totality. We'll give you the game coverage and everything else as well. I'll bring in Cooper Hopkins. I know he wanted to take that one in, and I don't blame him because I shed a few tears myself. So for the Flames, this is a huge game because, again, when Cooper and I last covered them between the Red Wings, I was saying that I think that they're going to be on the right foot. Now it's 0-3-1 at the last road stand, I should say, in between Ottawa, Detroit, Columbus, and Pittsburgh. And that's going to set up a big one tonight because when these teams met just a few days ago, Columbus got a 5-2 victory over Calgary. There was tons of fights, intrigue, goals. There was a lot of intrigue in the start tonight. Make no mistake about it. And the Calgary Flames, they want to get back on the right track on a night like this. This is going to be a huge game.
Nice to be in a little bit of a rhythm here again, and of course we're covering one of the most memorable games in a long time. If you're a Calgary Flames fan, you'll have to excuse me here. I'm feeling a little bit emotional as we get into tonight's game. So grateful that you were willing to do this. Such an important night for hockey. I think the tragedy of losing Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew is one that really can't be measured, and I think it's going to take some time for that sting to go away. But I'm proud to be a Flames fan tonight, and all of us, of course. But I think what they did for the family of Johnny and his brother, Guy and Jane and his sisters, to show that kind of class, as you mentioned, really means a lot. It's always nice to be a fan of an organization that stands up tall when things aren't going well, and I know that you are a fan of one of those great organizations in the Wings, and in the face of unimaginable sadness here, the Flames have really done the right thing. And you know what? Credit to the Blue Jackets as well for what they've done. And Johnny chose to go to Columbus, and of course, will always be a big part of both of those teams and memories of both fan bases. And John, I find it interesting. I want to get your thoughts as we finish the anthems here. I'm just taking a deep breath. And I want to think about what happened the other night. You mentioned that 5-2 win for Columbus. I just think I cannot put myself in the skates of any of these players on either side, whether it's Columbus or Calgary. Can you imagine being Sean Monahan for Columbus? Can you imagine being Rasmus Andersson? Both great friends of Johnny Gaudreau. Can you imagine trying to play a hockey game right now? And that's what they have to do. I think it's no surprise. I don't really think there's bad blood between these teams. I think the emotions are just running so high that that's what you may not. I don't think you'll see it again tonight, but I can understand why it happened a few days ago.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I'm going to be honest, as they were talking about taking the number 13s into the skate on the ice, that one definitely caught you a bit. But when I saw the Guy Gaudreau and the Sean Monahan camera shot there for the ceremonial puck drop, that one really hit me in the feels.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just looking forward to what I hope is a competitive game tonight, and one where fans and players continue to remember Johnny and what a beautiful moment. And I think one that didn't overstay its welcome.
No.
I think a lot of fans, including myself, hope that someday that the number 13 that Johnny Gaudreau wore is in one way or another really formally and permanently honored, whether that's retiring the number, or the Flames also have another honoree a group that's called Forever a Flame with members like Joe Nieuwendyk. Even though 25 is not officially retired, I'd love to see that happen someday. But what a moment, and so glad to be on the call with you here tonight to see that together.
I appreciate that, Cooper, and I'm glad that you're able to take this one in with me because I know it's a busy time for work for you, but I knew this was one stretch or another, whether or not you can be here for the full game or not. This is just one that I had to do. It's been circled on the calendar, not just because of what happened, but we've been waiting for something like this. And I want to mention this too. Cool to see Dan Vladar in the net today. He's going to have the mask in remembrance of Johnny and Matthew, and that will also be auctioned off for the Flames Foundation. If you get a chance to see that, hopefully they give us some more camera shots. It's an excellent mask.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and right on time, sir. John, your skills precede you as always. We got that close up of Vladar scraping up his crease, getting ready to go, and we do see that wonderful tribute. Hopefully, we'll make a lot of money for the Flames Foundation. Great charitable organization, and Johnny was such a big part of this community. But I'm looking forward to hearing your call in this first period, pal. So if you're warmed up and ready to jump in, I'll take the color, or however you want to go. We're getting underway here in the Saddle Dome.
All right, let's go. I will take the first here as this one bounces up in the air. So again, it's going to be Elvis Merzlikins in net for Columbus. Again, his numbers aren't all that great, but the attack for the Jackets has been excellent over the last 6 as this puck goes up and out of play.
Yeah, John, I did catch you in your open there as I joined alongside you here, that Columbus has been red hot. Flames really on the other end of things right now. They've been struggling and really did not have a good road trip. I think, unfortunately, it's some of the worst hockey they've played all season. They've been streaky. Start hot, cooled off, heated up again, and now have become cool. But nice offensive zone time here for Columbus to start things out. Dan Bladar's going to have to be on his toes early.
Yes, he is. It's a shot from Justin Danforth. Goes back out of the zone now. And again, as you look at both of these teams, they're both excellent home teams. And that is what Calgary is going to want to get a little bit back, because it's the same thing for Columbus. But they make sure 31 goals scored in the last 6 games for Columbus, and then wins over Boston, Tampa, Carolina, Calgary, and Chicago. So they are really striking on all cylinders alongside Dean Evason. Is this now opportunity off a couple of skates? It's Ken Johnson, the U of M Wolverine, with Fantilli and Zach Werenski. And Zach Werenski's been healthy. We get a little bit of a stoppage or break into his numbers as his neck gets dislodged. You might as well do that now. So for Zach Werenski, he may make the Team USA roster. He's just been healthy. 8 goals, 18 assists, 26 points, and a +12.
Yeah, he is en fuego. He's taken the Flames logo with the Flames on it. He's injected it right into his veins. He's really working hard and getting some good results. And I will say, as we get into this first period, you know what? I have no issue saying I hope we get a few good goals tonight, maybe a couple of snipes, and I do hope one of those comes from number 23 in white. I'd love to see Sean Monahan get a goal here, because I bet, regardless if you're a Columbus fan or a Flames fan, you're near a big old cheer for Sean if that were to take place.
Yeah, I'll definitely side there with Cooper. We can do that and get a Flames OT win. How about that? So teams can pick up points. As this is Mackenzie Yegor. He's wide open to shoot, and the wrister goes high and wide. This one actually stays in off the glass. As we sent toward the net, there is a broken stick shaft as one of the Columbus Blue Jackets is to go pick up a new blade. Now here's a pass across. This will be sent in toward the cage, knocked away from Damon Severson, former New Jersey Devil. As this will be chipped back down and across the flaming. So here's the race for Blake Coleman. Can't beat Ivan Provorov with the puck. Again, this is just a lot of different players on different teams, all joined in with Columbus. Not to mention Cooper and I in the first intermission can talk about a big trade that's made. Again, I know the name isn't big just yet, but it could be. I think it was a good trade on both teams. There's a beautiful pass right down the seam. Backhand. This is stopped by the glove of Vladar as we got 17:45 thereabouts in the first. Pelchier now turning on the burners, trying to get around Christensen, try to get an inside step of the former Montreal Canadian Harris, as this is now spun back around the embankment. Lombard tries to go ahead and get his stick in there, as this is a rolling puck. Cascade all the way back down the ice. Both teams might as well take their change. They'll do so. As now it's Kevin Ball. Just one shot on goal as we're underway here in the Saddle Dome. This is a big game and a big night for both teams in a lot of ways. Beautiful pass. Here's a chance for Ethan Bear. That was a nutmeg sauce pass, but it was Bean, that shot it wide.
It was Bean, sir, and I like that you shouted out Ethan Bear, though, who played for the WHL Seattle Thunderbirds. So maybe I'm in your head there a little bit. John, the old Seattle boy, on the call with you tonight. But, yeah, boy, Flames with a couple of good chances there. Yegor and then Bean, they both skied one on a deflection here. A nice ozone face-off win for the Flames, and here they go.
Bean gets it now from a Kadri face-off win, as this one is picked back up now by Marty. Sends it back around the embankment now for Kadri. And now an opportunity here for Columbus as this goes up into the players' bench. I will say this for Marty. We talk about some of those concussion issues. If you want to avoid Matthew Olivier tonight, because Marty had a couple of big-time scraps against Olivier. Those were rock'em sock'em.
Yeah, and we've already seen Lomberg out there doing what he does best with his fourth line. You know he's going to have that engine, and he was in a little scrum for the puck earlier. You know he's going to be involved for sure tonight.
So there's Sean Monahan in on the draw. So wave out one of the Flames here. So it's still one shot on goal here. About 16:59 left in the first. Another ozone draw here for Calgary. Here's a good setup in front for Marty and a couple saves for Elvis with the left pad. Now Ball sends it toward the net. This is a 5-hole step. Opportunity now for Kirill Marchenko. So they will take this up the backhand. Just eludes the glove hand of Dan. Picked up now as this will be Severson across. Ooh, a wide open back door there, but good play there for Kadri to knock it away. And here's an in-tight chance stalled by Vladar. He'll hold.
Ooh, tight angle shot right there. I think that was Voronkov who gets that shot on the forehand. And Vladar looking around his pads a little bit, but he was tight to the post and kept that door shut. But my goodness, you're right. Marty Pospisil with not one but two chances. They both got through, and it was two right pad saves consecutively by Merzlikins. And one, I think, was a little bit of luck, and the other was a nice piece of skill there, but big netminder for the Blue Jackets.
Yes, it was. And as you said, Cooper, between that Sean Monahan, Dmitri Voronkov, and Kirill Marchenko first line, they are very dangerous, and they're only opposed by Fantilli, Johnson, and Cole Sillinger on the second. There's a lot of talent here. There's a sandwich. Kent Johnson loses the puck there for a moment. Good forecheck here for the Flames. Sharangovich will try to get to it now. A couple stick chops. And this will be bounced up in the air. And Backlund will knock it down. There's a pass toward the right side. Doc, good back check there for Columbus to deny an opportunity to get a shot off. Trying to find Yegor off the pass. And Columbus now has numbers on a 3-on-2. Slow up, almost blow a tire. Werenski! He scores!
The man you talked about, Mr. John Odds. Dan Vladar shakes his head right there. He's got nothing to hang his head about, though, because he was the only thing we're talking about hanging is hanging him out to dry. That was Werenski, and you know he's not going to miss from there. Flames have had a number of good offensive opportunities with some really tight shots and legitimate wrist shot scoring opportunities here. And Werenski just calmly walks in and from that circle, snaps one pass with our looks like John. It goes over the left pad. Yes, lifts it over the left pad under the glove, and we have a 1-0 game. The Blue Jackets are off and running.
Kent Johnson was the one that made the play in the line falling down, and then Morenski. How many times, Cooper, do you actually get a chance to see a defenseman walking out in front of the net? Not often.
No, and boy, he looked like a forward. He really made it look calm, cool, and collected, and he pots that thing on the third shot of the night for the Blue Jackets. 1-0 now for the visitors. Although we're going to get a coach's challenge here, John. Going to be an offside challenge.
Yep. That's what we're going to look at right now. So we'll get some extended camera shots and let you know what we see.
Yeah, so obviously as we get the shot here of Ryan Huska, the head man for the Calgary Flames, you know that his video team is going to be very confident. Of course, the punishment, just for anyone listening, if this challenge were to be invalid, incorrect, that would be a 2-minute penalty for the team that initiates the challenge. The Flames would go down a man. If they are wrong here, and we're starting to get these slow-mo replays, John, what are you seeing?
I think Fantilli might be offsides, number 19, the other U of M man.
You're right, and we're going to get a call right away.
I think this one should be easy. It's offsides. Fantilli's off, and Werenski's goal is no. We're back to scoreless.
Yeah, we're back to scoreless. That's too bad. You know what? Listen, of course, hey, I'm the resident Flames fan here, but Werenski with a beautiful shot there and a good play. Johnson on the boards there, even though he was blowing a tire, he keeps the play alive. Columbus did everything right. It was just Fantilli about 8 or 9 inches offside, and we're back to 0-0.
I feel like I'm dreaming, Cooper. Fantilli, Johnson, and Werenski, 3 U of M boys all on the play, but it goes offsides.
It does, and man, you know, every time we say U of M, I just think of those iconic helmets, John. Amazing blue. It's in my mind right now. Go blue, baby.
So at least Washington got the payback win during the regular season, at least. But a big win for them against Ohio State. I was happy with that. Here's a chance that goes in off of Merzlikins and now on toward the left side red line. Good forecheck there for the Flames as they'll send this one in again. So the good thing for Calgary is that goal was brushed off the board because it's been a really good start to them in the first period. Again, we saw that in our last game. They weren't able to finish that off, though. It was ball now toward the right side boards, able to push this puck ahead nicely. Marty gets taken away at the blue line, and Columbus will have to send this one down deep for Rasmus. So 15 minutes, 5 minutes past. John, I'm here with you alongside Cooper Hopkins. I'm so thankful he's been able to join in on this one. Really want to see the Flames get a win today, as this one now is played in for Kirill off the stick lift. Here's a race down the right wing. Now Kadri gets poked away for a moment, leaves it in deep now for Marty near the left side red line. He absorbs the hit from Sean. Picked up now for Nazem. Take this DDD. Here's a slam for Miromanov, and this one will be held in by Mackenzie Weegar. Flipped up in the air, but stays in the plate on the left side red line is Kadri with a big hit, trying to get this one away from the defense core of Columbus. This will be flipped now toward the right side red line, and Huberdeau will watch for a moment as this one goes back to Mackenzie Weegar in his own end on a one-on-one. He'll spin and turn, just trying to buy some space and get some other reinforcements. You got the Lombard line out there right now, as this will be recollected for Columbus. Pinball pass, bounce off.
Columbus forechecking hard here, John. They've been able to turn over the Flames a couple of times here now. They have some ozone opportunities.
Yes, they do. This has looked pretty good for them right now, as this is now flipped up a couple times, and Lombard will go ahead and find the collection. This is fanned on a little bit, and here's a back pass. Try to see if they can find a cutting Rooney. And now Rasmus Anderson will start in his own end. Rasmus, and off his forehand now. Good skating for Rasmus here early as this one gets sent in. This will be played by Merzlikins, so no ice. Shots on goal are 4-3 Columbus right now as we're scoreless. Again, the goal from Zach Werenski has been called offsides from Fantilli. Here's a race forward now, Coleman. Now Backlund spin and turn beautifully, the captaincy for the Flames. As this one gets sent in deep. Here's an opportunity here on the right side. Dot spin and turn. 5-hole save from Merzlikins. This will be picked up now by Calgary. They're working behind the net. Good seam pass, but that one gets sticked away by Columbus. Little avenue of sticks there as Coronado will recollect. Here's an opportunity now as the Flames try to get this toward the right side bumper. Sharangovich gets turned around. Coronado, this is in between his skates, and now we'll see if Columbus has some numbers. It's a one-on-one. Kent Johnson slows up. He fakes a slap shot. Back pass now. Columbus looking dangerous in a backhand into the seams. And now Yegor try to get this one just ahead as Harris brushes him off the puck. 12:25 left to go in the first. This is now sent in now from Sillinger to Johnson. Flames will take a flip. Marty's got it now. Another one here for Huberdeau. Try to get inside out position on a 1-on-3. But this is with Columbus. Soft backhand, just trying to get this near the right side glass. This will be a back skate toward the left side blue line. Here are the Flames. Recollect now. Jonathan Huberdeau tried to leave a seam pass, but Marty wasn't in position. And now Columbus has it toward the right wing side. Couple stick chops. Mackenzie Weegar's got some defending to do. This will be picked up now for Marty in his own end. I'll just flip this one back to Mackenzie and behind the cage of Ladar. Shots on goal are 4-4. We're still scoreless. John here with you alongside Cooper Hopkins. Here's Connor Zary. First time I get a chance to call his name. Every time I get a chance to watch him, always making something happen. Finishes his check. As this goes toward the right side. Dot. Another one for Zary off the push. Picked up and toward the left side red line. Zary still with it. He gets knocked down. Makes a play falling down. This will stay with the Flames. Near the right side red line as Zary tries to get in behind and provide some support. Here's Dewar. Try to find Zary. This one goes off the outside of the cage. Long flip here for Columbus as this one gets sent in. Rasmus Anderson, leaving now here for Ball. It's not really going to get a chance to get a hold of it as the shot goes wide and past Vladar's glove. Coronado will watch this one get flipped back here for the defense. Intercepted by Calgary. Everybody gets on side here. Zary, stick chop, stays in the zone off his backhand. Beautiful play for Zary. Here's Lombard now off the spin. He gets it to D. Now to the right side down. Here's Miromanov. This one gets deflected, and this goes on a play.
My goodness, John, you really are a pro. That was some extended action right there. So we got a wonderful shot of Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau's father, Guy, and Johnny's son named after him, Johnny Gaudreau Jr. We're heading to the media time out here, John, and you should take a deep breath, sir, because my goodness, did we have some end-to-end action right there, and a couple of good shifts for the Flames. Yes. I got to point out 2 or 3 players that really stood out to me. I liked a couple of shifts back now because there wasn't a whistle until just recently. Nazem Kadri had a little bit of jump, a little spice in those skates, and he had a nice hit and really pressured Columbus in the offensive zone. Also, Coronado with some nice hands, spin and turn. He made a great call on that shot. And then Zeri showing up right there in that last shift for Calgary. You also mentioned Walker Dewar, who was up from the WHL, the Wranglers, who are also in town. And that is in part because Mr. Kirkland, who has been a nice revelation for the Flames this year, he is injured and on reserve right now. So a lot of developments, a little bit of roster change. One I want to say before we get too far into the game, no Andrei Kuzmenko tonight.
Okay.
He was up in the press box. He has not been playing that well of late, and I think it's time for him to get a little rest. I agree with that choice. What do you think, John?
So I think I'm going to give myself a roster correction. So every time I see Kuzmenko, it's probably Peltier is the one that I'm supposed to call. So I'll try to get on that one.
Oh, and didn't mean to call you out, sir. Not at all. Just
No.
mentioning what's going on with the Flames here. And no, you're on top of it as always. No big deal. But yeah, you're right. Peltier definitely, and some of the young guys are looking like they might have some jump in their game tonight. But yeah, you won't see Kuzi out there as he's called by the boys. He's getting a little rest tonight, maybe trying to reset mentally so he can come back and get his offensive game going again.
Is Kuz another one of those guys, Cooper? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but he's also due for a contract extension, correct?
Yeah, you are right. And he was a nice addition to the Flames last year. I'm not sure exactly what has happened. Maybe it's just the way the roster is constructed. But it's not that he's necessarily an anchor on the team. It's just that there are some expectations. You know, he has that skill and the ability to produce points. I don't think anyone's saying that he needs to be the leader in that category for the team, but you got to contribute. He just hasn't been able to do that lately.
So I see 22 there for Jacob Peltier, so I'll try to keep an eagle eye on that one. Is this a spin around chance? Picked up now for Marty. Glove save for Elvis. Traffic in front there for the Flames, but he saw it.
Yeah, he certainly did. That's a relatively easy save right there. I think he saw it from that near half board, the shot coming in, and snags it with the leather. And, John, I think there's one thing that's starting to shape up for me here as I watch the Flames play a lot from behind the net. I think they're looking for one tees and some greasy goals coming out from the trapezoid behind Marchenko.
I like that strategy, honestly, Cooper. That's the one I'd probably go with if I'm an NHL team that thinks that they could be rough, physical, they get an icing that can get the puck and create some plays. But the only problem with that is if you don't create some of those plays, you might catch one of the other opponents sneaking out maybe for a break or an odd man rush.
Right, no, that's a good point, too, because you do have that risk-reward scenario, right? Okay, hey, let's pull this team down low. We want to get this thing away from the blue line, be able to bring our offensive players down closer to the net where they have higher percentage opportunities. But, yeah, you might get caught the other way. So far, the Flames have not, but we'll see.
Kadri, good work on the draw. Beat Monahan there. And this one will be sticked again out of play. We'll get another O-zone draw for Calgary.
Well, I'm getting a close-up shot of Jonathan Huberdeau right here. Under that lid, it looks like he's got a fresh fade going on. He's out the barber earlier today, so maybe he's feeling good and ready to roll. I would not hate seeing number 10 fire up tonight and get a couple of points.
We say you look good, you feel good, you play good, correct?
Well, that's how you live your life, sir. So
We'll get another draw here. Monahan, 6 points, 3 goals, and 5 career games played against the Flames. As this is Ball. He's being hounded. Still trying to stick with it now. He will get it to Marty. There on the left side of the boards. Marty now wide open. He'll go for a slow backhand pass. I don't know why. He should have just shot it there. He was looking for Huberdeau. Here's a rush the other way. Here's a quick wrister. This will be stopped wide Bedard. And this will be chipped off the glass. We'll see if Kirill Marchenko can find it in between his legs. He'll race for it now. Rasmus Anderson. He's going to need some help. Try to get this puck out now. And Flames do some good work there as Marty will play this off the glass and send it down deep. Elvis will get out of his cage for a moment as this rattles around. Picked up now by the Flames in their own end. Here's Mackenzie Wiegers. Look to start again. Here's Backlund, but he back passed to nobody. Opportunity now for Columbus. As Olslop and Kent Johnson will make the smart play, send it in deep, see if Columbus can get any reinforcements for Dean Evason squad. But here's Backlund. They'll get it back, use the glass, and chip it in. Merzlikins will stop it. Will make the right play. Send this around the inboards. Good intercept by the Flames and across the blue line and a stick shot. Just got away from the breakaway there as Bean was able to get a piece of it. And this will be sent in now Coronado and on the hunt against Ivan Provorov. Now around for Kent Johnson. Again, got a chance to watch those guys alongside Manny Beniers down over the Seattle Kraken at Yost. A lot of good skilled young players here, many of them from Columbus. As this one sent in now toward the right side wall. This will be sent in deep. Provorov. And now the Flames will just try to get this one out. Here's an opportunity. And again, I could swear that John Abbott did call Sharangovich. I do see number 17, so I want to make sure that he is there. Someone else did not draw in, but I do see him in on the line today. As this is now picked up. Good play. Wrister, stop by Vadar. It's loose. And this now Bean will be a whistle, 8:22. I'm not sure why. I think his mask came off.
Yeah, you're right. That special Johnny Gaudreau tribute mask did pop off after a save and then a rebound on the doorstep. And I do think Vladar was able to paddle that thing away. But, boy, that shot crept up the sweater and up into the neck area. And Vladar notably does not wear one of those extra neck protectors. So I think he's just fine. He was able to shrug the shoulder up here. But we will get the media timeout. And no, you're right, John. I will say that, yeah, Sharon Govich's still going to be there. But his Russian brethren is Kuzmenko, who you're not going to see tonight. For Calgary, so you're good with Sharon Govich, and I will say I think in the last shift or two it hasn't been excessive by any means, but I think both teams have settled into this game now. I've seen a little bit more willingness to throw the body. There hasn't been a signature check so far yet, but I did see a little more physicality and pace from the Columbus Blue Jackets prior to this media timeout. And the Flames have also created a number of opportunities as well, and especially after coming off some games, John, where they really didn't create much of anything. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are certainly not the Pittsburgh Penguins of old, they really took down the Flames pretty handily. 6-2, I believe, was that final. It's nice to see the Flames with a little more jump in their game, but Columbus is right there matching it.
Yeah, and as you speak of the Penguins, I'm looking at this line right now. If it wasn't for the Panthers scoring 3 in the third, the Penguins would be winning right now. It's 4-4 with 5:47 left in regulation.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's what I get as I was on my way back from work this evening, getting ready to call this game with you. I did have that Penguins game on against the Panthers on the old Sirius XM NHL radio. I thought it was a done deal. Walked in my house and thought, okay, let's get this Calgary Flames game going. And there you go. Former Flame Matthew Tkachuk and his buds, they have something to say to those Penguins tonight.
I will we'll break into that a little bit more. I just want to give a shout out here for the Seattle Kraken. They really needed a win. They got a really good one today. Yanni Gord and Brandon Tanev with the final goals as they went 4-2 over the Canes at PNC.
Yeah, that's a great win away from the Great Northwest there. And I know the Seattle Kraken opened scoring in less than 20 seconds it took them to get things going. So nice to see they started fast and they were able to hang on and get that 2-goal victory.
8:10 left to go in the first. The shots on goal are 5-5. There we might see another one of these games as it's low scoring. Coleman off the tip. What a stop by Merzlikins.
Huge stop. And now we're seeing some of the extracurricular. I mean, it is hockey, John. You know you're going to get it. But Voronkov right there mixing up with Zary. A little bit of chirping going on right there. But what a play. Walker Dewar, who's just drawn in, one of the names that I mentioned, who's coming up from the WHL squad. He set that thing up. Good look to Coleman right there. And Merzlikins out front at the top of the crease makes a huge stop.
And Werenski gets flattened by Dewar, and then he tries to get his repentance after the save.
Yeah, Werenski didn't go back after the man took him down. He just took a shot at Coleman. Coleman's like, what did I do?
Another offensive zone draw one for Calgary. They've been very good in that category. This one's sent toward the net. Walker to side now. Dewar will try to get this one ahead as Coleman gets all turned around. And this will be an opportunity for Columbus to send it back in their own end and get settled here as they got the Road Blues with the Whites. Again, they've played very well of late. They've got points in 6 straight games. They've won 5 of 6. As they're only, I think, 3 points away from a wild card spot. That is not out of possibility considering how much talent this team has, only young talent. There's this one sent in now for Provorov. And again, over the last couple of years, as Cooper and I talked about, although it's the first game cover with Columbus this year, they got some veteran D and a lot of young forwards. Big hit the other way as Mackenzie Weegar pops back up. And this is now picked up here for Calgary. Weegar will get the puck back. I'll make a good outstretched pass across the flaming sea. It looked like everybody on Columbus was just playing back. Playing for the dump in here as Merzlikins will send this one down. This will just be sent in safely. And I guess not. It'll be getting an icing here. Calgary will get the hybrid ice.
Yeah, that's a close one right there. But the Flames are able to get back. That was Braden Hall just edging out one of the Jackets right there who was on his horse. So the hybrid icing was down. And, you saw Lomberg on that previous shift. You saw Pelche, Lomberg, and number 22, Pelche, looking really solid there. That fourth line for the Flames, they do rely on them for that energy and pick up the pace of play. And I like what I've been seeing from them tonight.
Yeah, you'd have to. As this is now, I'll leave you some numbers here really quickly as we'll get another redo on the Drummers. Leakins 852, 307, 894, and a shutout. That's with his numbers being better as of late. So take that for what you will. If the Flames can start getting some shots and then test Elvis, as that one does there, good stop there from Bean. This will be picked up now. Kadri trying to get this one back to Jake, as Merzlikin said no. This will be flipped. Now an opportunity is picked up by the Flames. Pospisil here for Kadri, just onside. And this will be swallowed away by Columbus. They'll start again. Calgary in on that forecheck, as I think Lomberg is the one that got taken out. This will be an opportunity that was possible, so not blow an edge. This will be sent in now. Here for Dante Fabro, former Nashville Predator. This is a dangerous feed out front. Now Columbus just missed getting it there as Huberdeau tried to get a piece as well. They'll send it in deep. Vladar will stop. And with the stick, but this is still very contested. Opportunity now, no tripping call as JVR, former Maple Leaf, took a spill. And Backlund, good seam pass. Try to get this one right up the middle. This is contested heavily. Zach Werenski able to make the defensive play. Fabro sends this one across. Columbus will look to start again. Racing across center ice. Here's a wrister. Vladar will fight it off as big number 80 sends it into the corner. Opportunity now, Sharangovich. This will go to Yegor. Now toward the right side red line. Here's a pass right into the neutral. It gets intercepted by Columbus. They'll take their change. It does Dean Evason squad. Vladar, a little bit nonchalant there, but this one will go toward the right side. Picked up by Coronado for a moment, then intercepted by Columbus. As Calgary is going to get some new reinforcements. Backlund will take his change. This will be sent in. This bounces off Vladar. I don't think he knew where it was for a moment. It bounced off his right leg. This one now sent in. Here for Columbus. Try to get an inside-out move toward the boards. One-timer! I don't know if this was blocked or stopped by Vladar, but that was dangerous there. As this is picked up here. We'll get a whistle right at 5 minutes.
Ooh, dangerous. Cole Sillinger. He sizzled one in on Vladar. I'm going to get a slow-mo replay right here on Sportsnet feed. That one blocked by the stick shaft of Mackenzie Weegar. The accuracy. We're talking a couple of inches right there. Weegar puts that stick shaft right in the path of the shot, and Vladar not technically called into action. That could have been a disaster for Calgary. But John, with 5-0-0 remaining here in the first, got ourselves a pretty good one here. It's competitive. There's been a little bit of hitting, some extracurricular, but it's not distracting either team from focusing on what they need to do. I've liked what I've seen so far from both squads.
Yeah, at least within the last couple of Flames games here, Cooper, hopefully get you a victory tonight. But both of these games, the ones that we just called, have been pretty good so far.
Yeah, and just shouting out Werenski, who's on that 8-game point streak. I think something pretty wild, John. You pointed it out. I think it's like 5 goals, 11 assists, or something like that over the last 8 games. So he's really on fire and had one on the back of the net tonight. Of course, it was called back due to Fantilli just going offside by about 6 to 8 inches there. But a good call by Ryan Huska and his video squad. They got that one right. The refs made the decision very quickly. So what could have been 1-0 Columbus takes us back to where we still are right now, which is at 0-0. No one officially opened the scoring yet, but a couple of times each of these teams has been close.
Yeah, they have. And if it was a few more days from now, if Cooper and I were in on the broadcast, we'd probably be able to get you some Four Nations face-off news as far as rosters. But in the next hockey game that I cover, probably next week away from the Sharks side, if I send some text to Cooper, I'm sure he'll respond back once we get some messages for that, because I want to know what you guys think. That's going to be announced probably rather shortly.
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation online, and I think that there are some shoe-ins for sure. You gotta expect some of those big names to appear on the rosters for those big Four Nations. But I'm excited to see how the rosters fill out. It's going to be nice to see some international competition again as we inch closer and closer to the Winter Olympics, which are actually not all that far away.
No.
And I believe we're going to have A nice change here, John, with the NHL players back in action again on the Olympic side of things.
Yeah, again, we're going to get more of that, more so than the All-Star break. So it's going to be different for all of us. Just we got some camera shots there. Dan Vladar with that goalie mask as this goes offsides.
Yep, Kadri out there again. Looks like his line is going to stay. 4:44 on the clock here. 7 shots for Calgary, 6 for the Jackets. But there have been more opportunities that don't technically show up on that shot clock. Also, Merzlikins 6-0-1 in his last 7 starts with a 3.11 GAA. It's going to be a tough one to beat tonight.
Yeah, and again, that also tells you said going into it, Cooper, the amount of goals that Columbus has been able to score help get some wins. Sean Monahan will send this one toward the net. Marchenko will try to stop this for a moment. Here's just some hand-eye coordination between both teams trying to play this with the stick with vulcanized rubber down out of the air. Voronkov now ball, and now here for Marty toward the right wing side. Want to make sure that Marty stays upright, doesn't have to throw any fists tonight, as this is now picked up here for Columbus. They'll take a D-to-D pass. Damon Severson will send it in as Vladar will stop at the goal stick. But again, Columbus had 2 players and on the forecheck here, so we'll see if Calgary can make something happen. Good individual move here for Nazem Kadri. I think that's got to be a call.
Yeah, it is going to be a call. Hand went up immediately. You know what? I'm not surprised that it's Nazem Kadri and the Flames who draws the first penalty of this game. He has really been on it tonight. I love the speed. We're going to get a holding call. Officially, it'll be a 2-minute man advantage for Calgary. Boy, Kadri wanted that puck immediately. As soon as the Flames turned that thing over in their own end, he was driving, wanted to do it himself. He doesn't end up getting the shot off, but man, oh man, draws the penalty. Obvious one, and it's going to be power play time for the home squad, John.
I don't mean to say this here because Nazem Kadri is the one that's a Stanley Cup champion, but maybe he learned some of those moves there from Connor Zary.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I think you got the veteran presence and you got the young gun, and Zary's not afraid to say this is what we talked about in one of the last games we covered, John. Zary doesn't have any fear when it comes to doing it himself. He's in the NHL. Hey, why not? You're in the big time. Let's do it big time. So here come the Flames, just under 20% of their power play. That's sort of middle of the pack in the NHL. 74% on the penalty kill this year. Good for 26th in the league for Columbus. Back to Mr. Ott's play-by-play we go.
So Weger, you got Jirinkovic out there with Zary right now as they've just made some of those changes. As this is contested toward the right side boards, we'll see who can get a piece of it now. Zary has it in behind the cage. Good play there for Huberdeau. See what he can do with a back pass. It's contested, and now Weger couldn't get a stick on it. Columbus survives the first wave here for Calgary as it's 1 minute left to go on the first man advantage of the contest. So Nazem Kadri able to draw a hold, and we'll see if Calgary can be the first to get on the board because Zach Werenski's goal is taken away from Fantilli offsides. Here is Kadri. He'll slow up. He can't hold that blue line. They'll have to skate all the way back on sides. Sidestep. Kadri does Coleman. Now Kadri will get this back. He'll turn near the right side boards. Rasmus feed to Backlund. Back to Rasmus. We'll have to slap shot as Kadri. This one sold by Merzlikins.
Nice stop by Merzlikins right there. Pretty calm, pretty cool in the right spot. And a good setup right there by the Flames. They had the puck on that far half boards there. Were able to dance on the blue line for a moment or two, and then Kadri gets set up for the 1-tee. Pretty clean look. I'm sure he would have liked to get a little closer, but still inside that circle. So good opportunity on the man advantage for the Flames.
And again, as Cooper mentioned, the 6-0-1 since November 14th is the best among wins. Jake Ottinger 5-0-1. But again, I just want to mention, as much as you get those wins, you got to have the run support behind you, and that is what Columbus has right now. But you take what you can get. They need goaltending. In between Merzlikins and Tarasov, it isn't exactly what you would want. You want to get those numbers a little bit better. If they can get all that all the way through, you could see Columbus as a possible playoff team. There's Backlund now. We'll put this one here for Kadri. Coleman tried to get to it, but he overskates it. Here is a touch picked up for Coleman and across the Flaming Sea. Pass across Kadri. Touch now towards Severson. Slap shot Backlund. This goes off the embankment. That one goes wide. We got 2 minutes left. Calgary's power play comes to an end. It's still very dangerous as Columbus trying to make a play falling down, and the Flames will intercept in their own end. Here's Kadri trying to take it coast to coast yet again. He'll like to peel this one back and take his change nonetheless. As Cooper said, he's been all over this game right now, even though they haven't scored yet. He does neither side. This is now sent away. Picked up now for Fantilli. Fantilli now, as my feed momentarily feeds, but I think we get this one back. It froze for a moment. This one's sent in now for Yegor. Merzlikins will watch as Rooney tries to go ahead and pick this one up now. This is now toward the right side duck, as this will be flipped. Picked up now by McKenzie off the steal. Will use bounce in off the glass. 1:10 left to go, and the first shots are 8-6, but I feel like I've been talking much more than the action has dictated because this has got some good back and forth. Good skate through here for Fantilli. He's trying to do it all himself right now, but he gets pinned over the Calgary's defensive end on the left side boards. Here is Zeri. Now trying to make the pass. This one picked off. Columbus trying to make something happen in the final minute. Here is Calgary. Good force there for Ball to get this out of the zone. Reverse hit. Zeri will get to it. He'll skate back. He's got possession now of the Vulcanizer off a 1-on-4. He'll just send this one in between a little bit of change. Sharangovich will watch as Zeri finishes his hit on Provorov. This is a blind pass picked off now for Calgary. Sharangovich send this one ahead as Zeri uses the offhand. 20 seconds left to go in the first. See if Columbus has anything on their last rush. They're taking their time as their forwards change. One more to the left side red line. Find an entry now. Kirill. He loses it momentarily down to 5. It's Marty. This one goes off the glass. Down to 3. Long shot sold by Merzlikins. That ends the first. We're scoreless.
Scoreless it is. Zeros on the clock, zeros on the board. The green lights go on, and the red and white jerseys head to the room, John. So a good period. I really like the action. I have to say, Calgary and Pospisil stood out for me. Of course, you mentioned Marty for all the fisticuffs that he had, but he's also has a couple of nice plays, including multiple shot attempts. We just saw those replays on the slow-mo side. Thanks to Sportsnet. There's the goal that's been called back and the penalty drawn by Nazem Kadri. Also, really liked Fantilli for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Would love to see more. If we're thinking about each squad here, I'd love to see a little more out of John Huberdeau. How many times have we said that, John? He's been on the ice, certainly getting his ice time, but just the passes haven't been that crisp. I'd love to see a little more out of him and developing the offense. And then, of course, want to see Sean Monahan really be a big part of this game, too, for reasons that should be pretty obvious. Johnny Gaudreau's best friend would love Sean Monahan to drive some exciting play tonight.
Yes, let's, before I get into some of the other extracurriculars, let's get into the scoreboard. We'll start with some of the stuff and then work our way to the important games because I believe, if I have off the offhand, 4 of these games went into OT today. There's not a ton of games on the schedule, but people are getting extra points. The Sharks get a huge win over the Washington Capitals. I didn't have that on my score sheet. Teapot gets his 10th as he scores in the final minute of the first. William Eklund scores 39 seconds into the power play for Mikael Granlund and Macklin Celebrini, his 7th assist already. Nick Dowd, the only lone goal for Washington for Martin Fehérváry, and Ivan Marchenko, as it's Logan Thompson taking a tough luck loss, 29 of 31. But Mackenzie Blackwood, he could be a trade candidate, 27 of 28, as he needs a new contract. He was spectacular, 964 save percentage.
Yeah, that's some big stuff right there. I love to hear Teapot's name. Of course, former Devil, former Flame. He's played some good hockey. Former King, he's played some good hockey for a lot of different clubs. And you know what? I like it. I like when you get a little shine. The San Jose Sharks haven't had a lot of that over the past handful of seasons. Not expecting them to take home the cup this year, but a win's a win, and that was a good one.
We'll get into the other one of the lower importance before we switch, but the Canadiens get a 2-1 win as they're trying to get out of the bottom of the Eastern Conference. But for the New York Islanders, before I even get into the particulars, they're now 5-5-5 away from UBS. That is not how you get into the postseason. Nick Suzuki with the game winner in OT, 239 from Mike Matheson and Cole Caulfield. Anders Lee, the lone goal, but Patrick Laine comes back tonight. He scores on the power play from Hudson and Suzuki as Sam Montembeault makes 30 out of 31. But it's just good to see Patrick Laine back on the ice.
Yep, 100%. Don't have anything profound to add to that. Just after what took place with Patrick Laine, glad that he's healthy, glad that he's back out playing NHL hockey. It's better league. He's a fun player to watch. I'm glad he's out there doing his thing.
Yes, he is. And then you got The Penguins, again, the Panthers, we just talked about this one final. Panthers forced OT with a 3-1 edge in the third period. It was Sam Bennett, Adam Boquist, Matthew Tkachuk on the power play, 11:27 to 7. But Brian Rust scores in OT from Malkin. That answers Owen Pickering, Evgeny Malkin, and Chris Letang. Tristan Jarry gets the win, 37 out of 41. Spencer Knight, wow. He only faces 16 shots, only stops 11. It's a 5-4 OT loss.
Well, yeah, those numbers aren't going to be great for him, Spencer, that's for sure. I'm just doing the math in my head, and I don't even want to say that. My rough numbers, A, are probably wildly incorrect, and B, don't look good for old Spence. But I do love him. Hey, I'm just going to take the opportunities, especially on a night like tonight. Regardless of the outcome, I like to see a couple of old buddies of Johnny Gaudreau and Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk, of course, being involved as they were all year long for the Cup run and the big win for those Florida Panthers.
Let's get into this before I cry a little bit as we go to this interesting scoreline. You thought you buried the Avalanche, and I'm not saying the Avalanche have been great or anything because they're only 14-12 on the season now. The Avs were at KeyBank in Buffalo down 4-0 after one. The Tage Thompson experience started it all. His 12th and 13th, J.J. Peterka and Beck Malenstein, 4-0 Buffalo after one. Nathan McKinnon gets his 8th and the second to make it 4-1. We'll see what we can get. It's all Avs after that. Joe Kiravanta, Logan O'Connor, Nathan McKinnon with the second, and Arturi Lehkonen, the winner at 15:38 of the third. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 36 out of 41 in the loss. And Alexander Georgiev, Cooper and I just talked about this. They needed some goaltending. He gets pulled 4 out of 8 after the first period. They just traded for Scott Wedgwood in from Nashville as they moved on from Justice Onanen, but Wedgwood was perfect in relief in the next two periods, 22 of 22. The Avs complete the comeback and maybe on the back end find some goaltending in the process.
First of all, say Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen 5 times fast.
I can't.
And then second, one is good enough, John, and the fact that I was able to do it is mind-boggling. But has the downfall of the Colorado Avalanche been a little prematurely advertised, sir? I mean, as you pointed out, 14-12, sure, okay, we got this record that, listen, if you're above 500 at this point in the season, you're doing something right. You're certainly not doing everything right. You're not, you're not going to hang your division banner right now with that kind of a record. But you make an interesting point about the goaltending situation. Not completely unlike the Edmonton Oilers. I think with a little bit different intensity. The question has been for the Colorado Avalanche primarily in net. Is it Gurdjieff or now we're looking at who's going to take the net? Maybe John, is this the beginning of something? I'm so interested in what the Colorado Avalanche do. They just have so much talent too much to ignore, and I'm fascinated by this. I think you made a really interesting point getting those details out.
And again, we hit this before. I won't belabor too much. All the Avalanche need in this 14-12, you can talk about Val Nichushkin and some of the other stuff as you try to work his way back. I get it. There's some different names, but the main ones are still there. The only thing that Colorado really needs, as we said, even alongside Edmonton, but Colorado especially, if you can get me some adequate goaltending, the Avalanche can start to make a push. Wedgwood, again, 22 of 22 in the second and third period. Don't sneeze at that. They need more of it. This is where I can cry a little bit as the Red Wings continue the free fall. They do pick up a point against the Boston Bruins at TD Garden. Jonas Korpisalo, 25 of 27. Ville Husso actually was good today, but it was 32 of 35 in the loss. As Nikita Zadorov, again, all the former Flames scoring. Justin Brazeau and Pavel Zacha all score. Zacha scores an OT at 2:15 and then answers a couple from Lucas Raymond. The Red Wings fall to 10, 11, and 4, and the clock is ticking on whether or not they want to make some changes in behind the bench for me.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to expound on your thoughts here a little bit, but I will say, hey, not all that long ago, Calgary Flames did try to donate to the Red Wings fund. They allowed those, tongue-in-cheek here, they allowed those Red Wings to get the overtime victory. But you're right, it's been a struggle for Detroit, and not just because I'm your pal, but like you have, paid more attention to the Calgary Flames through our friendship than you probably ever thought you would. I've been paying more attention to the Detroit Red Wings than I had in quite some time since the glory years, a couple decades back. And I'm hoping, like every Wings fan, I'm thinking, is this the year? Are we finally going to push past this hurdle that has been holding us back? Is it maybe a wild card time? Can we get a taste of the playoffs again? Things aren't going the right direction that way, John. Are you ready to pull the plug and make some big changes for the bench bosses?
I think, as I talked to you last week on the side, I'm not pushing away from trying to make some of those moves. As Ryan Leslie is interviewing Jane and Giga Drill. If we get any some quotes there for me during our intermission, we'll throw those across. But I'm thinking that, time is imminent right now. If it's not going to happen, Cooper, in the next 3 or 4 days, it's not going to happen at all. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think we are at that sort of quarter mark of the season, and then we're going to hit the holiday break. I think you got to make a change relatively soon here. And, I mean, what more does management need to see, right? How much more leash is there? It can't be that long. So, maybe we're looking at another week's worth of games here before decisions are made one way or the other. And you're right, it could be standing pat. But I'm with you. I think the needle to me is pointing, make a change, see if you can mix things up, because I do think there's enough there. Maybe it's me being pie in the sky about it, but I do think there's enough there for the Wings to at least compete. If not for something really serious, but just establishing with a new coaching staff some good habits and some winning ways for those Wings.
I just want to say this really quickly before we get into our talking point between Columbus and Calgary that I do want to end in this first intermission. I know Cooper's going to remember this, and you might not think so because it's months away to the free agency frenzy. But if we get all the way to that point again, as we get into next season and talk about some of the offseason moves, and the Red Wings still aren't a playoff team, then expect me to be fire and brimstone. That's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that.
I like it. If you're getting some big threats like that from Mr. John Ott, you're doing something wrong. So word to the wise, Red Wings, get your you-know-what together, or else he's coming for you.
I want to say this one thing here. As Dean Evason now is the head coach for Columbus, there was a big trade. Now, again, some of you might not kind of call this one big because the name isn't all that familiar yet, but David Jiricek was a top 10 pick for Columbus on defense. And again, I saw him. Again, you can talk about World Juniors or whatnot for Team Czechia, but he looked very good 2 or 3 years ago. And when I watched him, in between the stuff on NHL Network, you get the Sportsnet coverage and all that, he's going to be a top 10 pick. He was a member of Columbus. Whether or not it was falling out from Columbus management, I don't know how you do that considering he's only like 21, 22 years old. They've decided to move on from one Mr. Jiricek. He gets traded to Minnesota. Columbus gets a lot in the mix of this. It's a top 5 protected first round this year and a 5th, a 3rd and 4th and 26, a 2nd and 27, and highly defensive prospect Daemon Hunt. Again, we'll see if that ends up panning out. But I think this could be one for both sides because, Cooper, I know you've heard the name. We haven't talked about the Minnesota Wild all that much, but we know Brock Faber very well. He was a top pick there for Minnesota. He was the hometown kid. Now you get a chance to pair him with another very young defenseman, David Jiricek, and Columbus gets a ton back in return. I think this could work out well for both teams.
Yeah, I do think this is some good stuff, and I think that this is an indication that Columbus believes they have the building blocks in place and they want to add to it, right? Why not strengthen the foundation that seems to have been set? Columbus has had a number of difficult seasons, of course, and they may be turning a corner here. So why not go get a piece that can help you turn that corner? And I think that's exactly what they've done. And I think both franchises are going to be better for this. It's one of those classic change of scenery situations as well. It feels like, obviously I can't, I don't have proof of that, but just that gut feeling is that's part of what went into this decision. And I think it's going to be 2 thumbs up on both sides.
Yeah, and you're right, because when you look at it, in between Dante Fabro, Ivan Provorov, and Damon Severson, that tells you, again, the organization went out and got NHL veterans that knew how to play, and maybe they had some extra on the back end where they could go ahead and make the move and get rid of Jiricek in exchange for a ton of picks.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, as we get a little closer to the second period here, I just do want to say, as on the Sportsnet side, the feed I have here with Ryan Leslie, the post interviewing Jane and Guy Gaudreau and wearing their the home reds with the flaming C, Johnny Gaudreau's number 13, and the assistant captain patch. It just, not to keep bringing it back to it, but it's really nice to see them smile. And Ryan Leslie, who of course interviewed Johnny Gaudreau many times, and they knew each other personally. It's great to see Johnny's parents back in the Scotiabank Saddledome. I know that Johnny chose to move on to Columbus, which is respected without a question, but it's like they never left. And I did read a great Calgary Herald article by Wes Gilbertson, one of the beat writers for the Flames. And he said, how often do you know the names or faces of the parents of some of your favorite players or the players on the team that you root for? And that is pretty rare. And the presence that the Gaudreau family and Jane and Guy in particular have had in Calgary and beyond is really special. So thanks for doing this, John. I know I keep coming back to it, but it means a lot, and I hope that Johnny Gaudreau's somewhere smiling because he's got a great family, and he's being honored tonight as he's well deserved.
That's well said, Cooper, and I'm glad to be here. I wouldn't really want to be anywhere else. I'm glad that you and I got a chance to work this one together because I know several years ago or whatnot, but you happened to be at a wedding at the time when Johnny Gaudreau scored that Game 7 winner against Jake Ottinger. And I texted you after that one. I probably had a voice crack after that goal as well. But that was probably one of the most memorable goals I could ever have. And that was just even in the playoffs, I'd be able to call that one with Johnny.
Yeah, and I remember it as well. I remember you reaching out to me, and I do feel fortunate. I was in the car on the way back from the reception, and the game had gone late enough because it was deep into overtime. And that allowed me to put the game on my phone, get the Bluetooth fired up, and I had the game on the speakers, and I was able to listen in. So that's actually fitting because the spoken word, the audio is our preferred method of bringing these games to folks, and so I was able to take in arguably Johnny Gaudreau's most memorable goals, the Calgary Flame, over the airwaves, and that was really cool. And to share it with you too afterward was really fun. A great memory of old number 13.
Yeah, Johnny Gaudreau, I have some of the stats that are written across. He's absolutely unbelievable. 763 games played, 243 goals, 500 assists, 743 points, and a plus 25. And again, in that season, when you had that line alongside Elias Lindholm, Matthew Tkachuk, and Johnny Gaudreau, you had three guys essentially in the 100-point totals, plus minus what Johnny Gaudreau was almost a plus 70 that year.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And Johnny was the first to do it, and then wasn't the only one that year. But yeah, he was the first 100-point scorer for the Flames since, and we talked about this, since Darren Fleury decades prior in the mid-90s. And so that just shows you what it means for Calgary and the fan base. And that line was so special. And listen, and this is not a knock on Elias Lindholm. Elias Lindholm has moved on a couple different teams. Vancouver now with the Bruins, where he's with his teammate now once or twice over, Nikita Zadorov. But Elias Lindholm just has not been the same player. I mean, go figure. You're
right.
in front of and alongside Johnny Gaudreau, a legendary player. Rest in peace. And then Matthew Tkachuk, now Stanley Cup winner and one of the best players in the world. So certainly not a knock on Lindholm at all, but boy, was he really a wonderful addition to that line. And I don't want him to be erased from Flames fans' memories either. I think that it ended a little bumpy, and that can leave a sour taste in the mouth. But he was a great piece of those teams with the Johnny Gaudreau era. So thumbs up to those boys, and all. John, I'll finish my little run here. I think about all the way back. I think about players like Michael Furland in the run when the Flames were in the playoffs and took down the Vancouver Canucks in a hard-fought playoff series. I think about all the way back another Michael Frolik, a player who'd been on a few teams, and was a solid piece and a veteran that helped show Johnny the way. And then, I can't forget that the legend, Jaromir Jagr, scores his last NHL goal with an assist from none other than Johnny Gaudreau. I mean, what a run for Johnny in Calgary, and then his couple years in Columbus as well. So thanks for humoring me. I love to look back on all that stuff, and thanks for bringing up the stats too. He was a special player.
Oh, no doubt about it. Again, we're going to get set here for the second period, but I know you could say I would say honestly in the reaches of history there in between that line, one of the best lines we've had in the NHL in history.
Yeah, I think you're right, and it always seems a little bit dramatic to say that, but the numbers bear it out, and the eye test does as well. And we'll see how these lines do tonight, John, for these two teams on a fresh sheet of ice. It's the second period. Do you want to continue to work through and then switch to the halfway point, or do you want me to take this middle stanza?
If you want to take the whole stanza, if not, I'll switch for you. You got home ice tonight, so you got to be the one that closes it. That's my only rule.
Okay, that's fair. That's how we handled it last time. I love we're getting multiple shots here of Sean Monahan. He's wearing the A in that navy and red for Columbus. He'll be in the face-off circle, and there will be a wave out. Nope, never mind. We're going to have both teams hanging in here. It was Nazem Kadri. He ends up winning that face-off. It's flicked back in here into the offensive zone for Calgary. They can't keep possession, though, and with about 25 seconds gone here in the second period, 9 shots for Calgary, 6 for Columbus as we get started again. Marchenko will sneak out of his crease. He'll use that big paddle to fire that vulcanized rubber, as John likes to say, all the way down the ice, and it was deflected. So no icing from the goaltender at the other end. Picked up by Yegor. He tries to go backhand, forehand right there, and was deflected away momentarily. Goes cross-eyed to Monahan. Now a stretch pass will bounce off the boards behind Marchenko. He's going to paddle that thing again, and he sends it out down the near side. Nice diving attempt to get that puck right there by Cole Sillinger, but it's picked up by Calgary instead. Now Yegor with a minute gone in the second, and Cooper Hopkins on play-by-play. That's yours truly, alongside the main man John Ott out there in Michigan. We got this game for you here at the Scotiabank Saddledome on a very special night. Of course, the 13th home game of the season for Calgary, which is fitting as the franchise honors one of its best ever, Johnny Gaudreau. And right now, nice snag through the leather of Gambler, from the leather of Gambler. He's going to whistle this thing down. We'll get a face-off in just a little bit. And there you go, John, on cue. Most goals in Flames franchise history. Numbers 8 and 9 on the top 10 list. Sean Monahan with 212. Johnny Gaudreau with 210.
Are we still going to be alive to see if anyone passes Jerome McGinley is my question.
That, I'm going to firmly say no. I think Jerome McGinley, the Hall of Famer, the retired jersey, the number one legend of all time for the Calgary Flames. He will hold that spot for many, many years to come. What a wonderful run. Although, there's some other great players too, including one on the ice right now. No, he doesn't have the same point production, but hey, how about 1,000 games and counting? More than that now, in fact, for Michael Backlund, who's out on the ice right now, the captain of the Calgary Flames, the longest tenure Calgary Flame in the history of the team. So pretty cool. Number 11's been out there for a long time, the Swedish centerman for the Flames. And he does a nice job right there deflecting the puck away from those Blue Jackets. And this thing's going to trickle all the way back with 18 to go, where it's picked up by Severson. He leaves for Provorov. Provorov back skates right now, and the Blue Jackets are going to set this thing up. They go through the neutral zone, flicked in just on the correct side of that center red line. I thought there might be an icing, but we play on. And the puck's backhanded along, glove down, and then bounces off the skate right there. A little bit of a check, and it's Walker Dewar, who's the recipient of that check. But he did a nice job to keep that puck in and knock it toward Marchenko for the Flames. It's going to rattle around now with a trapezoid. Good backhand pass right there, picked up for Columbus by Matthew Olivier. And now the puck's going down long. No icing. That's waved off emphatically by the referees. The Flames are going to have to do some work in their own end now. Puck is loose in between the circle of that high slot area. But the Columbus Blue Jacket that picked it up right there was not on the right foot. I believe that was also Olivier. He was looking for a backhand shot, never got one off. So we have Marchenko right now. Again, he's been out of the crease several times already. He's averaging 1 a minute, John, here in the second period playing the puck. Right now, Monahan is battling alongside Justin Danforth of Columbus, and they're tied up in the near corner. So the Flames right there with Kadri's line out are unable to come away with the puck. Puck's at the blue line. It's a snapshot right there where you can see the twig flex on that one. Good shot from way out, but it bounces off some legs. 10 shots for the Flames, only 6 for Columbus. But again, as John and I have mentioned, there have been some good opportunities. And even if those shots haven't made their way to the respective goaltenders, these teams are really putting premium on offense tonight. Nice 45-degree angle pass out of the Flame zone and then through the neutral zone. A little 3-on-3 action here. And this one's going to be just to the right of Merzlikins. That was a nice shot on the other side, I believe, from Coleman, trying to get a look at that. No, make it Huberdeau. And now with the puck is Nazem Kadri. He goes back to the point on the far side. This one's going to be shot from distance. Merzlikins tried to make a save right there. It may have gotten to him. Have to check that one on the slow motion replay. But now Pahal calling for the puck. He will not get it, though. It's backhanded along to the top of the circle. Huberdeau scanning, sends this one over. Sharp angle shot, loose in front. The puck bounces through. Diving down for it is Pospisil. He's tied up right now with Sean Kirill. And we are going to have a whistle, John. Looks like was Pospisil brought down with a trip. Hopefully you have some info for me. If I took my eyes away from the screen for a split second, now all of a sudden we got a man advantage.
That's what we should have, as the shot was funneled toward the net. I believe we got a crossbar just before that, too. Huberdeau ring the pipe and all sorts of madness as the puck was put toward the blue paint. We should be getting a tripping call. I'll get confirmation in a moment.
Yeah, you're right. And boy, shout out to Alec, who's in here right now. And Alec, a big tip of the cap to you with that profile image, sir. Big special night tonight with the honoring of Johnny Gaudreau and his family. So thank you so much. From one Flames fan, just showing you a little love, my friend. And here we are. It's a big three. We got John Hunt, we got Alec, Nava, and we got Cooper Hopkins here. I'm your man on play-by-play. And we got 15-50 here in the second. Shots now doubled up for the Flames, 12-6. They are leading in that regard. 0-0 on the scoreboard. The Werenski goal from the first period ended up being waved off after an offside. Now the Flames are going to try to get numbers here. There's a shot close in. No, make that a whiff. Oh, my goodness. That was a close attempt right there for the Flames. And that was Kevin Rooney, who was not able to get a clean shot off. And we are having the Columbus Blue Jackets look for that puck. They'll sling it in from center ice and try to collect this thing, but it'll be picked up by the Flames first. Sent across now to Sharon Govich. Sharon Govich going to skate this thing in, dump it down, try to collect. It will be taken first by Fabro. Nice job right now with Backlund's line out. Another whiff on the pass right there. Puck bouncing around between the circles out in front of Merzlikins, and the puck's back to the Flaming Sea at center ice. So we have a little bit of possession time now here for the Flames. Miramonov's going to skate this one. The big defenseman takes it down low. Puck's out in front of Merzlikins in the blue paint, but it's knocked away at the very last second by Columbus. About 5 minutes and change gone here in the second period. Again, 0-0 on the scoreboard. Good game, but scoring has been tough to come by. As here comes Backlund with that left hand. A forehand knock off the kick plate to the right of Merzlikins. And picking up the puck there, Sharon Govich will go back to the far point. Flames going to look to get this one in with Weegar. Weegar lets that thing roll off the stick, but he collects it. Floats it back down to the near corner. It's taken there by Pahal. He continues it along to Backlund. This line's been out for a little bit now. You think the Flames are going to want to change here relatively soon. Hanging on the puck beautifully right there is Coleman. Pahal with a centering pass that goes begging. That one bounces a little too wide of Merzlikins' net. Coleman is out there. He's doing a good job on the forecheck right now. He ties up Kent Johnson. Excellent work with Zary as well. Zary, boy, he is playing well tonight. I love it. Every time he's out there, always has something to contribute, and that was no exception right there. So he puts the body on, and he's controlling the puck now and beating Werenski to it. Werenski, the vet, gets taken. That puck gets taken away from him by the youngster. Now Zary calling for the slap shot. There's a centering pass right there that goes between the wickets. Coleman could have had a deflection attempt, but it goes begging past his stick blade. And with 13:38 to go, make that 13:37 lead if you're using keyboard speak. It's been good play here by both squads, guys. And I'm going to take a breath. John, what are you seeing from this Flames team? They look energized.
Good effort, as you said, to get the behind-the-net play, get the physicality, as you talked about. You were on call here in the sense of there wasn't going to be any fisticuffs tonight. I'm not seeing that now, but that doesn't take away the fact that we've seen physical play, checks, working behind the net, as you mentioned. Connor Zary, even though Jonathan Huberdeau just hit the post, Zary has been one to watch. He always is one to watch.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 47, white numbers, red jersey. You got to see him every time he's out there. And as we hit this media timeout, just really liking what I'm seeing so far from really all these lines. That's been what has been lacking, I think, during the road skid that the Flames went on. I just didn't see enough life, with enough consistency. And even though this is a 0-0 game, these teams are well matched. And I think that scoreline the other night in Columbus doesn't really fully represent how even these teams are. They're certainly in their same weight class. I think they are both looking for potential wild card spots here. I don't think they're going to creep in and and contend for their division by any stretch. But right now, I believe that Columbus is just outside of a wild card spot. The Flames still hanging on to that second wild card spot. So it makes sense to me that this thing is still so evenly balanced.
If I had to throw it to you, who needs this win more tonight?
Well, listen, I feel like maybe you're teeing me up because when I get the opportunity, I'm going to go this way. I like to lean Flames. I try to stay neutral. You and I always talk about that professionalism, but this is both me leaning into my fandom, but also acknowledging that the Flames have not been very good lately. I think they need to turn things around, and I think on a night like tonight, what the man and the player Johnny Gaudreau meant to this team and this city, I think that coming away with a win tonight would just mean a little more, and it should be hard fought. I think if it were easy, it might mean a little less. They should have to work hard and dig down, and I do hope they come away with the win tonight, and we will see. And I have run myself right into the next straight of play-by-play here as we have 13:26 to go on the clock, and we were getting a nice shot of Blake Coleman with his kiddos, helping him take the skates off in the dressing room. That was pretty sweet with his two youngsters. Helping them out. Why not? Take it easy. Give your lower back a rest there, Blake. Have the kids do the work, taking those laces out. And we have 13 minutes to go here in the second period. It's 0-0 your score. We got Cooper Hopkins. We got John Up. We got Alec in the building as well. The proverbial building of Twitter/X Spaces. And the Flames now do have the puck in the offensive zone. Nice cross-ice pass right there. And then a big howitzer that rattles around past the cage, so not on net. Now chasing this one down is Monahan. He'll pick it up. A little bit of a dangerous pass right there, but Yegor collects it nicely. And with some confidence, he loses his footing, but is able to get that pass across. And there's a shot right on by the Flames and Jacob Pelche. It's gloved down easily, though, by big number 90 in net for Columbus, and we will get a face-off.
I don't want to let this point sneak away too fast. I just want to say, because after the camera shot the was talking about Blake Coleman and his two girls, girl dad Blake Coleman, I'm putting him on the score sheet tonight. I'm stealing that one. He's getting one.
I like it. And, we also get a shot of Rasmus Anderson, who leads the NHL with 76 block shots this season, taking that mantle from former Flame Chris Tanev, who was just a shot block machine. So Rasmus Anderson can do a little bit of everything. He can score. He can pass. He can defend. He doesn't throw the mitts down too often, but I wouldn't be surprised. Not tonight, I hope. Not tonight. He was one of Johnny Gaudreau's good friends. Along with Blake Coleman. Now a bouncing puck out in front as Columbus has possession. That had Vladar sliding left to right. Now Werenski, he's going to try to get this on a give and go. That's broken up neatly. And now speaking of Rasmus Anderson, he does a good job. He's able to bounce this puck out to neutral ice. Now one of the Blue Jackets falls down near the right side penalty box. Flames couldn't take advantage, though, and Columbus just dumps this thing in for a change. So inside 12 minutes to go here, Lomberg's fourth line is out for Calgary. And Ryan Huska's grind unit is going to come back out off the ice as we see Backlund and his team come out again. Squad, I should say, come back out again. Now this puck rattling around, bouncing down toward Vladar. It never gets there, though. Good job by Backlund with the active stick to knock that thing away, and the Blue Jackets will have to reset. It's taken by Jay Christensen. He holds. He looks for Sean Monahan, who's going to pass this one toward the benches, and now we have a puck fluttering up and out of play with 11:25 to go. It'll be face-off time in a few moments.
As that puck got deflected, we get a camera shot of Dustin Wolf. I'd love to see him get back in the goal crease at some point to cover one of these games. But as that puck got deflected, Sean Crowley's all alone near the left dot. He tried to get a shot on him, but he just couldn't get a piece of it as it went wide.
Yep, we saw the same thing there. And then another great shot right here of the Johnny Gaudreau tribute mask featuring some really great art. And that, of course, will, again, as we mentioned earlier, at the open of tonight's game, will be donated and hopefully earn a nice piece of cash for the Flames Foundation and charity. And then there's a pass across right there from the Blue Jackets, trying to go to that near circle. It doesn't connect with anyone, though, so that puck bounces all the way back to the center faceoff circle. Now taken by Calgary, looking for an outlet now of the Flames. They're going to carry this one for a moment. Now it bounces straight to one of the Flames right there. Couldn't get a number, but we got Backlund on it right now, so he's getting some extra shift time as well. Ryan Huska must like what he's seeing from his captain, and then we have another stoppage, gentlemen, as this puck floats up and out of play into the stands.
Right into the sea of red. Look out over there near the players' bench is one of the ladies got a puck over there.
Good hands.
Yes.
The good hands. The cowboy hat, cowgirl hat in this case. And she's got a souvenir as well.
Again, I know I said it before with the sea of red of the Blasty jerseys. I still got to pick mine.
Yes, you do. Are you sticking with Kadri as well? That's the question. We will find out. Here we go with Walker Duehr wearing 71, not unlike Kadri's 91. Flames trying to hold on to this thing, but Zeri turns it over. And the Columbus Blue Jackets will skate it out. Now it's a good speed. Justin Danforth trying to collect. He will. And on his backhand, now hang on a second. We have a whistle, broken stick here. The puck was on Danforth's blade. And what is going to be the call here, John? As we cut to the Columbus bench, 10:30 on the clock. Is it another man advantage for Calgary? Yes, it is.
So the first time when there was pucks out in front early in the second, there was a trip in front, there was no call. This time we're going to get a little bit of a hook in between the legs and a broken stick. That's going to send Justin Danforth into the box.
Yeah, good eyes there, my friend, and that's why Danforth was able to collect possession. As I called during play-by-play, that was Pahal who beat him to position. But Danforth gave him a pretty clear slash right there, snapped that stick right in half. And Pahal says, hey, anybody watching here? My twig's broken, and it's not my fault. So 2 minutes for Danforth. He will sit. Flames barely keep this onside. Deflection from the blue line all the way down to Coleman. Coleman's been near it twice. Flames are 0 for 1 on the power play tonight. Almost made it 1 for 2. 1:35 to go here with the power play. Man goes down for Columbus. Sean Monahan out there with the penalty killers. There's a snapshot from close to that go off the bar. We had one from Huberto earlier that rang right off where the bar and the iron meet. And that thing could have changed this game. But the Flames now all around it looking to capitalize here. 1:20 to go on the power play. There's a slap shot from the top of the circle, and it's into the back of the net. Calgary Flames 1-0, and it is Rasmus Anderson.
What an absolute bomb. A good work there for Blake Coleman. If he doesn't get a primary or secondary assist, he definitely deserves one. Set that all up as the Flames continue to work that around the horn. We're near the right dot. Rasmus could tee it up all day. No chance for Merzlikins.
No, and I love this replay right here as Rasmus and Kadri work together to keep that puck into the blue line. Rasmus using that inside of his skate like a soccer player. They, of course, practice with the soccer ball before the games, and fleet of foot, yes, he is, and with the big stick as well, yes, he can do that too. That was blasted, wired for the cage, and that beats Merzlikins on the right side, and I am, frankly, very glad to see Rasmus Anderson with a huge goal tonight. Truly one of Johnny Gaudreau's closest friends on the team. I think it's fitting. You have to excuse me, a little bit of emotion here coming up, but do we have, John? Do we have a stoppage in play here? Werenski was denied. And do we have a potential challenge by the Blue Jackets for offside? It looks like we will know. We are going to have this game continue. On the 15th shot, Rasmus Anderson scores and makes it 1-0 Flames. Love to see it. So he has been a great point getter this year for Calgary, which is both a wonderful thing and kind of a puzzling thing as well, because remember, he's a blue liner. But here come the Columbus Blue Jackets. Speaking of the blue line, they just crossed the Flames blue line, and they tried to get that puck down low toward Vladar, but it bounced past Sean Kiraly, and the Flames are now trying to knock this one out of their zone and back to center ice. They cannot do so. Picked up by Werenski, who was denied earlier due to that offside goal being waved off. And now with 9:10 on the clock, he circles from the dot, tries to put one on Vladar, and it bounces through traffic and all the way back to the blue line. Vladar tracks that long shot, which floated toward his blocker side, but wide of the cage. And now the Flames with Yegor trying to get this one out of the trapezoid. They're fighting for possession here. Boy, good effort by Kevin Labanc. And Flames now, speaking of Bank, I mean, that just was a setup for me. Banking it off the glass is Calgary. I think we have an offside situation here as, yes, Nazem Kadri was a few feet into the ozone before the puck. So we will get a face-off in a few moments. But it's Rasmus Anderson, John, and getting a huge hug from Michael Backlund and Nazem Kadri. That, for me, I know we try to stay neutral, is a wonderful moment. Regardless of how this game ends, knowing that he scored tonight is pretty sweet to see.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you were on the call to be able to actually get that, because I would say in our last game, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get you any goal calls, and that was one of the biggest ones. I just got to say, though, that shot was absolute perfection, top of the right bar and in. That was a beautiful shot.
Yeah, Johnny, really, it speaks to. Can you imagine how many times, whether it's Rasmus Anderson or honestly any NHL player, almost any hockey player, how many times do you get a feed from the point, center point of the blue
Right.
line, maybe a few steps inside, and someone's going to feed you for a 1T at the top of the circle. That kind of the sort of OV zone, right? That Alex Ovechkin classic spot. And you've got to do it thousands and thousands and thousands of times. But what does that mean? You got to know that the goaltenders are expecting those shots to come from there. So all the more credit to Rasmus Andersson for really pinpointing it and putting some spice on it. That thing was searing into the net and almost burned a hole through the back of it. That was a great way to start scoring.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say on your point on Rasmus, I can say the 32 teams in the NHL, every single one of them would love to have him as a top line blue liner because we've been talking about him as a target for years now. But Rasmus Andersson, I don't want to see him go anywhere. Whether he leans into as an offensive defenseman by trade, I like it. You might get some mistakes here and there, but his points, everything else that he brings, even on the defensive end, is way more worth it. I love to see him push to score goals.
Yeah, it's been really fun seeing him grow, and he is the unquestioned top defenseman for Calgary, and hopefully will be for many, many years. And obviously a very different player than Mark Giordano, but that kind of presence on a team that can really stick around for years and have that kind of skill and tenacity and leadership. Also point production. I mean, let's not forget, Gio was able to put up points through some of his best seasons of his career. So Rasmus Andersson really taking over that role from another Flames legend. And we are back here at the Scotiabank Outlook with a score of 1-0, 15 shots for the hometown Flames and 6 for Columbus. Danforth, who was the reason that the Flames got that goal. He was sitting in the box for a slash. He comes in offside. So whistle here, 8:35 to go. And John, what are you thinking here? Blake Coleman's out on the ice. The Flames try to push for a second one here before too long.
I'd like to see that, but Cooper, I'm just going to tell you what's on my mind forthright right now is the Columbus Blue Jackets only have 6 shots on goal. This has been a really good defensive presence here for Calgary.
Yeah, you can see it not only in the numbers, but just in the kind of the feel on the ice. The Flames have had more of the run of play here during the second period. So credit to Ryan Huska getting his boys motivated. You got to think there's been plenty of motivation, even if there were no locker room speeches, even if there were no, motivators. And there's a nice 1T setup right there that almost got to Bladar. That one was a bit of a whiff and a bit of defense right there, a little combo from the Blue Jackets and the Flames. I think that was Van Riemsdyk who was looking to set that thing up. Now, Coleman tries to snap one on, but he can't get all of that thing, and it sort of slides to the center of the ice. Flames are battling for that puck in the neutral zone. They will get it. Walker Dewar, he goes down near the glass, and the puck will be picked up by Dante Fabro. Here come the Blue Jackets the other way. 7:45 to go here in the second. This is Cooper Hopkins on your play-by-play along with John Ott on color. Another shout-out to Alec in that great profile image. And it's just the three of us here doing our thing tonight. And we'll see what the Columbus Blue Jackets can do is that centering pass goes to Sean Monahan, another great defensive play right there by Calgary to get that thing out of the low slot. Now the pass along the blue line going to be taken by Christensen. Flames do a good job of turning over the Blue Jackets now coming away with it. The man with a C on his chest, make that 2 C's on his chest. It's Michael Backlund for the Calgary Flames, we mentioned a couple of times. And now good check right there down low. Voronkov, he's going to knock the Flames off the puck, but they will keep possession. Miramonov looking for a target. He finds a man to pass to, and that's Sharangovich. Sharangovich with a backhand right through the slot. My goodness, no one there. There's a slap shot way out. Has to be turned aside by Merzlikin. So that's technically going to be shot number 16 for Calgary here with under 7 minutes to play in the second. Referee almost gets tied up with the puck right there, but nice give and go passing right there by the Blue Jackets. But even better defense, make that forechecking by Miramonov. He was going back to make the change. He actually dumped that thing back down. Christensen of the Blue Jackets had to go get it. Now Huberdeau, who's picked up his game a little bit, he's going to freeze that puck at the half boards. He wins it for the Calgary Flames. Now Pahal with a little bit of a pass that's off the mark. Flames do keep possession, though. Nazem Kadri, man, he has got fire in his skates tonight, looking so good. He wants that puck, and that one is a nice 1T shot that then rattles off of someone's backside and will get knocked all the way back down to Dan Bladar. He has to backhand that thing with the big paddle. And this puck will bounce to the flaming sea at center ice, where it's immediately sent the other direction, taken in right now by Adam Fantilli for the visitors. Fantilli looking for the puck, but he's got to fight with Braden Pahal, who does a good job on the backhand to keep that puck's momentum going. Now Huberdeau going to try to pick up that puck in the neutral zone. It's poke checked away. And with 5:50 to go here in the second, the Columbus Blue Jackets still looking to tie this hockey game. It's 1-0 courtesy of a power play goal by Rasmus Andersson several minutes ago. And boy, was it a howitzer. Do we have a delayed penalty here? Could this be the first power play opportunity for Columbus? I saw a hand go up, John, and I think I cannot tell what's going on, but it was Pahal now who's got his lid in his hand. And it is John, another power play for the Flames.
Yeah, another one is Pahal, as you mentioned, with the helmet off. We go to commercial break. I just want to say this again. I know I repeated myself a few minutes ago. The Blue Jackets still do not have a shot on goal in this period. Rasmus Andersson has more goals than they have shots.
Yeah, that is incredible. And it's not really the way the first period felt or went numbers-wise or feel-wise. And it comes down, I think, just to the Flames doing what they need to do and really putting their foot on the gas.
Rasmus Andersson on the power play from 10-14 from Backlund and Nazem Kadri, although I will, even though it doesn't technically count, Blake Coleman would also be on that score sheet for me as well, as that kind of got everything set up. Elvis Merzlikins 15 of 16. Dan Vladar still sitting at 6 of 6. We got 5:35 left to go in the middle frame as Cooper Hopkins was able to call the first goal. We'll see if we get any more. A second power play goal for the Flames would be huge in this period.
Yeah, this is the kind of spot where, you feel the tide turning. And John, you and I have now talked about this multiple times over the past part of this period. I think that what the Flames obviously want to do, of course, who doesn't want more goals? I mean, that's the object of the entire contest here, score more than the other guys. But I think now more than ever, with things in their favor and momentum working on their side, this is where you got to take that time. Because you have to know with a team that has the skill that Columbus does, they're going to push back at some point, whether it's now or in the third period. You're going to see their best. They're not at their best right now. And for that very reason, got to put another one past their big goaltender.
I know I have a question for you that I'm thinking of. We'll say for the second intermission, but if the Flames do win this one, they'll be 10-3 at home. So let's keep that in mind. This is a big power play. Well, Cooper's going to get it set for us.
You got it. So we have a face-off to Merzlikins' left. That was going to be Backlund in the face-off dot. He gets waved out after contesting a little too early for it. So Kadri steps in. He will not win that one. It's won nicely by the Jackets, and they'll have an opportunity to escape this thing away. It's on the stick of Cole Sillinger right now, who's going to try to kill some time. Doubles back. And now this puck will be shot down the near wall, and it bounces all the way, slowly, but all the way to Vladar. He won't have to play it, though, as Rasmus Andersson, the only goal scorer tonight. He'll pick it up and then drop it back to Backlund, who's going to captain this thing, not only his team, but the power play. And Pospisil on his backhand of the near wall going to try to drop it for Andersson. Now we could have a 2-on-1 the other way, John. It's going to be picked up right there by Danforth, and his centering attempt will not find its target. That would have gone to Sillinger. But nice job by Danforth to be on that forecheck. The Flames struggling right there, but look to come back the other way now, partial 3-on-2. Pospisil is going to drop this one back to Backlund. That first power play unit is still out there. Make it second, I should say. Now Rasmus Andersson, he's going to look for this puck in the neutral zone as it bounces off his skates. Boy, good pressure here by Columbus. They do not want what we were talking about during the break to come to pass, that being the Flames capitalizing on this momentum and doubling their lead to 2-0. Less than a minute now left to go in the man advantage. Puck goes down low to Backlund. Now back to Yegor. Yegor gets the puck right back. He wheels, looks. He's going to hang on this puck. The right-hander gets that puck floated in. Nice job by Pospisil. And then we have what looked like a trip to me, but I think just a blown tire. The clearing attempt is successful for Columbus, makes it all the way back down to the Flames' blue paint. So they will have to have their big goaltender paddle that thing away. And now a nice drop pass all the way to Yegor. Yegor has a little difficulty handling. Taken right there by Sharon Govich. Now Sharon Govich unable to get the pass connected. That was looking for Matt Coronado. They call him Scoronado. Would love to bring that that nickname to life here. But the time elapsing, and now we're going to have another partial break for Columbus with 8 seconds left in the power play. On that puck right there was Matthew Olivier. So the Flames really with nothing going in that power play. I don't even believe let alone a shot on goal, even an offensive opportunity. Now there's a snapshot from outside. Puck bounces around. Connor Zeri will have to peel back after Columbus takes possession. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go here in the second. So no shots on the man advantage. Flames now 1 of 3 with the extra man. So Columbus looking for their first, and Rasmus Andersson is out there again, getting plenty of ice time tonight. Good give-and-go passing. Boy, tic-tac-toe stuff right there for the Flames. They're going to break out with 3 going the other way. That's left to right on your radio dial, but the Columbus Blue Jackets going to do a great job of turning them over. It's 3-on-2 the other way. Now centering attempt is touched by Dmitri Voronkov, but he cannot direct it successfully on nets. 2:45 to go here in the second. Cooper Hopkins on your play-by-play alongside the one and only John Ott. And again, still now with just a few minutes to go here in this second, no shots officially for Columbus in this period, and that is due in part to the fact that they have been on the penalty kill, but now we're going to get a whistle, and Rasmus Andersson's calling a dive, but he's going to be the one heading to the box. It's the first man advantage coming up for Blue Jackets, Sean.
Yeah, it looks like Sean Kirill got tripped. I do want to say one thing. I know it looked ugly on the previous power play, but Blake Coleman single-handedly stopped the 2-on-1, and why was that? He made the pursuit immediately toward the left side dot. He committed to figure out who was going to get the puck first, and you know what? Cooper, he shot out like a bullet. He wasn't hesitant, made sure the puck got knocked away.
Yep, you're absolutely right, as is so often the case. And boy, Rasmus Andersson, he looked none too pleased when that whistle went. The Flames did have possession there, so the play was whistled down immediately. And now this is an opportunity. I did say earlier, and you got to be careful what you wish for, meaning me. I'm looking at the mirror on this one. Sean Monahan out on the ice, but the whistle will blow, even though he won that face-off, and he's going to be blown out of the circle. So the Flames, who rank 30th out of 32 teams in the penalty kill, they're going to have to do some killing right here. 2:34 to go in the second. 2 minutes man advantage now for Columbus, their first power play of the night. They were 0 for 2 on the power play in their last game against the Chicago Blackhawks. 10 minutes have elapsed here. Werenski has it on his stick, looking for a centering opportunity. You're going to drop it all the way back to Marchenko. Marchenko sends it across ice. Back to Marchenko now, who skates in with a little bit of speed. He's got it at the far side face-off dot. He goes right back to Kent Johnson. Now back to Marchenko. Across to Werenski. He wants his goal back. There's a blocker save and a whipped clearing attempt right there by the Flames. And they're going to have to continue this kill. It's 5-on-4, 1:25 to go in the man advantage. A big one-timer, and that one goes wide of Dan Vladar's net. But it is not out of the Calgary offensive zone. Make that the defensive zone. Back to Marchenko. He steps into that OV zone that we talked about near the top of the near circle. Number 86 on his back. Goes back to the point. Now we're going dot to dot. It's back to Kent Johnson. Kent Johnson cycling, looking. He's got checked right there by Rooney. Puck bounces all the way back to Werenski. Now the fake one-timer. There's a centering pass right there. They were looking for Monahan, but this thing will rattle around and make it all the way back after a minute and 5 seconds of ozone time to the neutral zone. 1:24 to go here in the second, but the Columbus Blue Jackets come right back in. Good job right there, closing down at the far half boards. Again, the Flames cannot clear the puck. This one's sent down to the near circle. Holding, back pass. There's a huge shot right there, battling out in front. Are the Flames, they're going to get that one turnaround and fire it all the way back down. Out of his crease is Merzlikins. They are trying to capitalize the Columbus Blue Jackets right now. 1:03 to play in the second. And the Columbus Blue Jackets now skated in. They're going to tap it over to the far half wall. This one's back to the blue line, kept in nicely and sent down 45-degree angle all the way to the near corner. Bounced off those boards. Goes right back now to Ivan Provorov. He's going to try to set up Adam Fantilli. There's a shot to Vladar. He had him bumbling, and stumbling. He was way out of position. Could have been 1-1 right there, but Vladar will cover up and get the stoppage. Boy, the Flames on thin ice right now.
Yeah, he did, and that was partially blocked as well. You know, honestly, I'm not used to seeing Kent Johnson on Amazing Blue being a setup man, but that Werenski clapper, if that would have even hit the net, that would have blown a hole through it and tied the game.
Yeah, no question about it. Columbus has looked good on this power play. It's just what the doctor ordered for them. They're going to lose this face-off draw to the right of Vladar, so a nice clear right there. That should take us to the end of the man advantage as Merzlikins slaps that big stick on the ice to indicate the end of the penalty to Rasmus Andersson. We are back to 5-on-5. 32 seconds to go here in the second period, and the Columbus Blue Jackets will hold possession here. Right behind Dan Vladar in the trapezoid. There's a centering pass from behind the cage. 22 seconds now. Nice dipsy-do right there by Ivan Provorov. He holds possession. Good job. Kadri really battling for that puck. He drives against Werenski, puts him down on the ice. Now we got a little partial break the other way. It's Jonathan Huberdeau. He's going to hold that puck. Centering pass. There's a shot on goal. It's just wide of the cage. It was Ball. My goodness, Kevin Ball, the defenseman, looking like an O-man right there. 4.3 on the clock. That thing was just wide wide of the glove side on Werenski's net.
Yeah, and I love to see these defensemen push up. Jonathan Huberdeau wins the race for the puck. He puts on the back skate, set it up. Ball will walk in the middle of the slot. That's a big save from Merzlikins. Just don't forget, there's only 5 seconds left to go in this second.
Yeah, John, this is big stuff here. I'm going to have you, John, take the last piece of this one. I've got a little Wi-Fi issue here on my side, so if you mind jumping in, just take us to the end of the period.
So we'll take this last draw here, then we'll get you set up in the second. Again, I would have Alec normally jump in here too. I'm open to listen. I know he just had some NBA Cup action, so he's had a lot going on today. I got this late game and then the off tomorrow. We got a lot going on this week, as this will be Coronado, Kadri. Here's a slapper. This one, block. That one's going to hurt a little bit. Couple times as Rasmus Anderson at 90. This first one bit the Columbus Blue Jackets. That will take us to the end of 2. Rasmus Anderson scores on the power play, and that's the only one we get. So Sean Monahan, there was a little bit of holding off the draw, but holy cow, Werenski gets a block. There's a block out in front. Rasmus Anderson had 2 shots at it.
Yeah, and John, I'm back to business here. So we see the teams heading into the dressing room, and you got to say that even though the Flames really were in the driver's seat during that second period, it's what the doctor ordered is usually a man advantage, and that's what the Columbus Blue Jackets got. And they look dang good on it,
yeah.
And you got to think that's going to give them some confidence. I'd say there's all to play for it with 20 minutes to go.
Well, I'll say it to you like this because I know we're going to agree. The last game that we called was a 2-1 victory. This certainly feels like another one of those, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. You got to think that the Flames are gunning for that shutout, of course, but I would be surprised if they are able to maintain it. I just have to say that Columbus has been around it enough. Hey, they, like as we keep mentioning, they had one in the back of the net, if not for that offside call that waved off the Werenski goal. But you got to think Columbus is going to get one, and if my wish comes true, that's going to be number 23 in the white, navy, and red, and that's Sean Monahan, of course, Johnny Gaudreau's best friend, would have been his neighbor. Would have raised their kids together. What a tough thought there, but so glad that he's back in the Saddle Dome, received a warm welcome, took that ceremonial face-off with the Gaudreau family and Michael Backlund. But yeah, John, Rasmus Anderson being interviewed on Sportsnet side right now, he's your goal scorer. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Blake Coleman continue to be around it. Kadri has looked really good, and I believe you called Coleman as your potential goal scorer for the Flames tonight. Am I remembering that right?
I feel like I have to when you saw his 2 daughters tie his skates.
That's exactly right. There's some magic in those laces. So you nailed it, my friend.
So I have a couple questions for me, if you don't mind here for you, Cooper. And again, answer them how you want to. They aren't exactly the most enlightening, but there's a couple thoughts that I have, and I think a lot of the Flames fans do as well. So this is a 2-parter. It should be easy to answer, but at least give me your thoughts. So the Flames, again, they win this one today. If they do, they should be 10-3 at the Saddle Dome. But right now, they're 3-6-4 on the road. So my first question is, how do they improve that road record? What would you like to see different? And my only other one, and I'll shut up here in a second, is I'm looking at the numbers here for Blake Coleman. We're talking about it last year. He absolutely broke out like crazy scoring goals. Was that just one of those years? Because right now he's got 10 points in 25 games. He's looked good, but can we get him back to scoring some goals and popping some wristers?
Yeah, well, let me also answer those in reverse order. I think that the answer is yes for Blake Coleman, and I think that what you're seeing tonight, could be a turning point. I know that points of any kind have been tough to come by for both teams, but I really liked his game so far, and he was the Flame with some of the earliest opportunities. He wants to step up tonight. And I do think this could be a motivation for him to get back to that form that he showed last year. So call it just blank or blind positivity. I don't think it's unfounded. We have the numbers that show that he can be a real contributor and a scorer night in and night out. So would love to see that take place for sure. And then when we're thinking about how the Flames perform on the road, first of all, I love that they are doing well at the Saddle Dome. That has actually not been the case in years past. They have struggled at home. And I remember fans going on Twitter and seeing people like, tell me where you want me to book your flights, Flames, because I'm going to send you away from Calgary as soon as possible. But I love that they left the home cooking this year. That is great. Here's what I'm thinking for the road work. I want to see something, and maybe this is not where you expect me to go with this. I want to see them return to the regular rotation of Vladar and Wolf that we saw earlier in the season. Now, that didn't necessarily lead to road victories, but I want to make sure that the Flames stick with what had worked, especially in that early push. They really surprised a lot of people. Then they did cool off, but it's been a little bit of a sine wave. There's been some up and down here, but my thought is that when they've succeeded most, they have been rotating their two very skilled goaltenders, especially Dustin Wolf, on a regular basis. That feeling is for a lot of coaches that you got to go with the hot hand, right? How did Vladar do last game? Fatigue levels. Of course, they're going to take those things into consideration. I want to see each of these goaltenders get equal opportunities, especially on the road. And I think that, especially with their young netminder, the Flames are going to want to make sure they protect him. You can't leave a guy like that hanging out to dry. Got to keep his confidence high. This is his rookie year. He's still, even though the odds have dipped a little bit, still a Calder candidate. I think that can be a motivator when they're away from Cowtown.
I think those are very good answers, and I appreciate you indulging me on those. Again, I'm looking at the updated numbers here. So Rasmus Anderson's got his 6th of the year. That also will tie with Matthew Coronado as 6, and Jonathan Huberdeau and Nazem Kadri has 8. So balanced scoring here for the Flames. Just going to can see more of it. And I'm glad that you mentioned that with Blake Coleman, and agree, because we saw him break out there last year a little bit scoring, and I know he's got that touch in there. We're getting some highlights here from Sportsnet. Another big one on the ice tonight in between the Oilers and Golden Knights. That one's on Hulu and ESPN+. Golden Knights got the lead at home at T-Mobile.
Yeah, Golden Knights and Oilers, that's a battle right there. Division rivals, and the Golden Knights, they just won't go away, John. They're a competitive team night in and night out, and the Oilers, they're getting the brunt of that right now. Just a 1-goal deficit for them. You got to think the Oilers are going to get more than one as well. But the Knights, they know how to play against Edmonton. They're looking good.
Yes, they do. And let me make sure that I refresh this. This is no sort of panic here for me, because at some point you expect the Winnipeg Jets to cool off. In fact, now they're second in the Central, but they've just lost 4 in a row. They lost to the Blues tonight.
Yeah, I just saw the highlights as well. I think we're looking at the same thing. Here's those Colorado Avalanche you were talking about. And I think we talked about the skill on that team. And guess who was leading the way? That was Nathan McKinnon. Now we're going to get I can't wait for you to recap this one. We got an exciting one between the Sabres and the Avalanche. But, before we move on, the Jets, you knew that start was not going to be sustainable. Hey, they're still set some records. That is one that they will always, meaning the fan base, will always remember. But things have taken a turn. And unfortunately, it's taken a turn for the Red Wings as well. My goodness. We're getting some scores. Yeah, some of the things that we've been talking about here. We got the results coming in now, John. It's like it's all coming in an avalanche. We got the Pens. We got the Red Wings results. Where should we go to next?
Well, that's a big one here for Alec and on the broadcast, though, for the Pens getting the victory over the Panthers, as we talked about. So at least somebody's going to be happy today. Try to get 2 out of 3. We've got to get Cooper a win as well.
I'm certainly hoping so, as we see that slow-mo celebration between 2 excellent Swedes for the Flames, Michael Backlund and Rasmus Andersson. But, big thumbs up to Alec. I know it's been a tough season so far for the Pens, but when you take down the reigning champs, I got to smile about that one. But, John, I keep talking about the big goal sticks of Merzlikins and Vladar, but looks like the Red Wings netminder might need a new one, because I think the outcome made him so frustrated that he snapped the one in his hand, my friend.
Yeah, when I just saw the replay there of what we got, Alex DeBrincat at it behind the net, but he just blew a tire, and it's sit up there for Pavel Zacha to finish against Ville Husso. And I'll be kind, because I do like Ville Husso as a person, but his tenure as a member of the Red Wings has not been good. But tonight really was not his fault. He played very well. Red Wings do get a point, but this was one of the things that we talked about in the first intermission, talking about maybe some of the coaching stuff. I know I mentioned that with Alec as well, so I won't belabor it too much. But the Red Wings call William Legason from the Griffins, young forward, but they also call in their maybe future in net. I'm not going to say Dustin Wolf, but Sebastian Kosa is now come up with the big club, and he is essentially the height of the big cat. and that was what a lot of fans want to think about. But also, again, I'll make this point that Cooper normally makes. Again, the Flames defense is a heck of a lot better than the Red Wings, and I will make no bones about that. But you don't want to put Sebastian Cossa in a situation when he's got to play behind this blue line, because your confidence will get thrown into the drawer and stuffed away quickly.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. That's a fair point to be sure. Boy, a lot of interesting outcomes tonight. We saw the Avalanche we talked about a little bit earlier. They end up coming away with that 5-4 win, and they looked pretty good doing it. They had to battle for it, giving up a few goals there. 9 goals total scored in that contest. But, yeah, just kind of recapping or putting a cap on what we spoke about earlier, I think that the decline, the downfall of the Avs may have been a little prematurely advertised.
Yes.
That's flashing across my mind right now.
Yep, and I'm looking at some of the standings right now. The Sabres have lost 4 in a row to try to get out of playoff contention. Right now, it's the Flyers and the Rangers holding into the Eastern Conference spots 1 and 2. Pittsburgh, again, with their win, they're only a point away. There's a lot of teams that are only separated between the wildcard spot. You got Tampa, Pittsburgh, Columbus, New York, Buffalo, and Detroit all within 3 points of a playoff spot. So who knows which way that's going to go. And in the West right now, again, Colorado still on the doorstep. Depending on what happens here with the Flames, they could seesaw because they're tied. St. Louis trying to hang in there. Seattle trying to hang in as well. Hell, San Jose didn't have the greatest start, but now they're 10-13-5, and they're only 3 points out of a playoff spot, if you can believe that.
Isn't it wild? It's maybe we're starting to see the wheel turn a little bit for some of these teams that have been under the cloud, the dark rainy cloud for so long, and it'd be kind of fun. Listen, by no means am I a fan of the San Jose Sharks, but I don't hate them either. I'd love to see them make some noise this year, and you know what? That's what we keep coming back to with those Red Wings too. Whether it's a coaching change or not, or just a little push, breath of fresh air, something that gets them moving in the right direction again. I always love. In fact, now John, I'm going to take the chance to look back 20 years ago. Those Sharks and those Red Wings were two of the opponents that the 04 Flames faced on their way to the Stanley Cup Final against Tampa Bay. So come on, bring back some good Sharks teams, bring back some good Wings teams. I'm ready.
And I'll agree with you, but I do want to throw this, Alec. If you are around the phone right now, please leave a comment in there because I want to get your thoughts or yes or no. I'm going to do this right now on December 3rd. I'm going to lay down some judgment. I'm going to have some fun here in a second because I don't have a lot of critical questions planned as we're looking at the opening ceremony, the puck drop, and everything else. That was so cool to watch that in the open and very emotional. I'm going to officially eliminate 2 teams from playoff contention on December 3rd, 2024. You ready? And I'm going to do it in 2 conferences, and I'm going to do it in 2 teams you probably don't expect me to say. Maybe one you do. In the East, I'm going to do it. The Detroit Red Wings, you're gone. I'm eliminating you from playoff contention. And I'll put on the big boy shoes. I know it's been a tough start for them, and this might be easy. They should be able to rebound a little bit, but I'm going to say they don't. The Red Wings and the Nashville Predators are eliminated from playoff contention. That's my call.
John Ott bringing the heat tonight, especially with that Preds call. I mean, I know they had such a tough start, but you know what? It's hard for me to disagree with you, though. I mean, as hot of the take as you might call it, it's an informed take. I think that you're right on, sir.
You guys, let me know what you think. If you have to call, let's have some fun here because we still got some time in intermission. You give me 2 teams, 1 from each conference, you say has no shot of making it.
Let's hear it, Alec.
We're going to get him in here right now. Let me see if I can get him in on the co-host.
Oh, I thought that was him taking a big deep breath to give you some spicy dragon breath takes here.
No, I have him listening in right now only because he just previously worked a last game, so I didn't want to totally kill his vocal cords.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I must have heard something. I thought that was the big Ace Ventura deep breath for a monologue about who's going to be out of the playoffs. This is going to be a tough one, John. I'm going to start in the West, and I'm going to say that the Seattle Kraken are going to be searching for some answers.
No.
The season comes around. I know. It hurts me to say it, we were there, and we don't want Manny Beniers to miss those playoffs. I think that they will be close. In fact, I think that they might. I'll be even more specific. I think they will be the first team out, which is even harder to swallow. And where does that put the Flames? It could be right. It could be the Kraken and Flames right next to each other when it's all said and done. But I don't know. I don't want to be too negative. We were there. We were Climate Pledge. They got the way to the victory. You know, in a game that you'd think that they would win against the Chicago Blackhawks team that's still, you know, working its way back to some of its glory. But the Kraken, I think, are going to be close to it. It just feels like one of those seasons where they're going to be on the fence really the whole way. I just don't know, especially with the Everly injury. I don't know if they have everything in place to really make a big push against some of the heavy hitters. But, okay, let me take a look. To be fair, I'm going to take a quick glance at the Eastern Conference standings. Let's make this fair for your boy here. So let's take a look. What if I said I think the Leafs are going to be out? No, I'm kidding. Taking a look right now, no. I think the Leafs are going to be just fine. But I'm going to say it's too easy to say Penguins. I think it's too easy. I will give you a bonus. I do think the Penguins will miss, and that's going to make things a lot more difficult as Sidney Crosby continues to inch toward the end of his storied career. But I'm going to say that I think that these Columbus Blue Jackets will not make – I think they're going to be close. I think the Columbus Blue Jackets are almost the Kraken of the East. I think they're going to be right around it all year long. As we've said, I like the pieces. I like Monahan. I like Werenski. I like Fantilli. There's a lot – I like the way Merzlikins has played. Can he sustain it? Those are questions, yet to be answered. But that's just my gut feeling. Maybe it's recency bias because we're watching these Blue Jackets tonight. But do you think I'm crazy, or am I playing it too safe? Where do I sit with you, sir?
No, I don't think you're crazy. As we get Alec's thoughts in a moment. But again, I'm rubber stamping this on our December 3rd broadcast. This will be interesting for us to look back on and say whether we were right or whether we were wrong. And Alec, I know it's been a while and you worked a long day, but I want to get your thoughts, and also thanks for listening in.
No problem. Anytime, guys. That's where my spots are. Who would be the odd men out in the playoffs? One from each conference.
Yes.
To the East, it may be too close to call over the bottom of the barrel. But you did deal with Detroit. I may have to go a different route. And, this particular team is still rebuilding. I don't think they have all the pieces yet. They do need work on defense. They might have a goalie in Caden Primo, but I just don't see a possible way Montreal makes it in this year. The West, that's a little more difficult to me, if you want my honest opinion. Yeah, Nashville's been disastrous, but Chicago and Anaheim are in the midst of
Right.
Anaheim's in the midst of a long rebuild. Chicago's in year 2 of a proper rebuild for them. If I had to pick one, I think it's down to the wire on who I think is going to be the first one out between them. But, man, I expected a lot better from Nashville. I think they may put on a hot run, but I don't think they'll make it at this point. But if you want my take on first team out, I'm leaning Anaheim.
Okay, so I think all those takes are well informed and fair, but honestly, it's shocking me to even say this again, Alec, but you're joining in with me on Nashville, and if you would have asked all of us, they would have been a shoo-in playoff team.
That's the most shocking part, given their additions. Stamkos, Marchenko, Shea, any time you think of those teams, they were elevated in you, not depressed. What happened?
Yeah, it still boggles the mind. It's you'd think, oh my goodness, that's it. Like, was it Alec? You just said shoo-in territory easily, if not division, and then all of a sudden it's at the opposite end. It just speaks to all these questions around, what changed about whatever was the foundation of the culture there. I'm not saying we brought in any, locker room problems or any of these. These are classy guys, who are, on the cusp of Hall of Fame type careers or cup winners, et cetera, or both. But something changed, and I don't think anybody can figure it out, let alone the front office in Nashville. But looks like, John, we are back to work here at the Saddledome. So you ready to jump in for some play-by-play? I guess I got the home advantage, so we'll take the final 10. You take this first 10 of the third.
All right, sounds good. Let's get into it. Again, Cooper's going to get set to close this up for us as I'll pull back up in the depth chart if that decides to load. This is Dan Vladar now waiting from post to post as the Flames will go ahead and send this one. I'm interested to look back on the second intermission, and I will revisit that once we get closer to playoff time because I think we had a lot of nails on that bullseye. As this is Dante Fabro. And toward the right side post, it's 1-0. Rasmus Andersson with a power play goal off a beautiful slap shot. Would have been one for Zach Werenski as well for both defenses, but Adam Fantilli went off sides. And you just wonder if that power play opportunity gave Columbus enough chance to touch the puck, get the field, and try to make this another 2-1 game. That's still what I'm feeling right now as this one goes up on a play. Question not whether it was touched.
Yeah, taking a look at a replay right here with a shot that went to the right of Vladar, and we're taking a peek at this thing. Was it touched? Boy, I can't get a clear look at it, but it does look like it took a deflection somewhere along the line. So we'll get a face-off to the right of Merzlikins, and that's a nice quick win and shot on by the Flames. John jumped back in there. Took over for you accidentally.
That's no problem. Again, we have a relatively clean game as well. None of the fisticuffs. Again, Cooper had mentioned it. We're going to see probably much of that today. But if we have any sort of rebuttal there from Pospisil and Matthew Olivier, I mean, that's going to be appointment television. Please do not miss it. You got to find your way to your TV if you're listening to us on that side. If we get to it. As Mackenzie Weegar. This one will be intercepted by Columbus. They will try to chip this one off the glass, but here is Calgary as the puck eludes Kent Johnson. Spin now for Coronado. This is an open wing. Skating in is Bean. Second opportunity for the game like that. Win the first and the third, and this one goes out of play.
It's a smart pass right there, just to leave that gentle touch from the far point into the center of the blue line right there. And a nice attempt by Bean. He comes in, shoots a little bit late right there, so a good active stick by the Jackets to get that deflection. But Flames with a couple of nice looks early.
And it's nice to see that I started to get some of my names corrected because, again, I went from Jake Bean to Ethan Bear, but I try to be professional and figure it out. As it's 5-0 home record, November 7th, 04, and 3 on the road for the Flames. So two completely different stories in that book, as this is now toward the right side of the red one. There will be a pin now as Olivier stuck in against the glass now. This puck can be blown dead if the refs don't see it move around as Connor Zeri. We'll watch this go back around. Justin Danforth now, working with Zach Aston Reese, former Penguin Red Wing. He's been all over the place. As this is now Flip Hall will get the touch. We'll get this one into the neutral zone now, and this will be blown dead. We get offsides.
Yeah, and John, as we get this little breather, it's just nice to see the Calgary Flames getting work. Again, I touched on this once before, but I think it's appropriate as we start the third to bring it back, and then we're going to see if this holds through this next 20 minutes. Nice to see good work from all four Flames lines. I think that's super important. I talked about what I'm thinking for the goalie rotation, but really getting that hard work night in and night out on the road for the Flames from all four lines is going to be, it's fundamental hockey stuff, but it's what you need. You're going to get that road record back into a good place.
And this is more of a defensive game as well, looking at the low-scoring effort, and goaltending has played a huge factor with Dan Vladar. Just 9 shots allowed at this point in time.
And that's the thing, Alec, that's been so impressive to me in this one, more so than anything else. You can talk about Calgary wanting to score more goals here, but if you could play these type of games, these are the type of games that help you get playoff victories, and that's what you want to lock in moving forward there as Ryan Huska and Craig Conroy continue to add to this talent on this team, because the Flames are going to be good in several 3 years, and they're going to get a new building as well. So I think both Columbus and Calgary will be in the right space in a couple of years' time, especially as this is now Fabro. And now for Weegar. This will be to the left side, dot intercepted, and a loose puck. Go to the right side, dot chance. This is a heck of a blocker. That's stung a couple of the Flames. Still good work now for Calgary to get that out with Jacob Peltier. Definitely to eat one. Now here's his skate in. Kevin Labanc, former Shark. Here for Sean Kiraly. 6th in the NHL, 3.61 goals per game this season are the Columbus Blue Jackets. Here's Labanc again, and this one gets shot wide. They're just shooting from everywhere right now. It's Nazem Kadri doing his Connor Zeri impression. He lost him between his skates, but it's right there for Huberdeau. Good save from Merzlikins as he dives across near the left paint. Here's an opportunity now as this is flipped past Kadri, Provorov, and off the spin. He tried to leave it to the left side blue line. Here's another bomb, and this one stopped from Werenski by Vladar.
Yeah, good stop right there by Vladar. As Alec pointed out, he hasn't been called into action all that much. And boy, we see the replay right there. Merzlikins reads it beautifully. He almost predicts the forehand backhand. That's exactly what Huberdeau gives him, and that left pad denies the second goal for the Flames.
Dante Fabro with a good stick check to deny Nazem Kadri an in-tight fence over the low slot. It was excellent moves by Kadri early, but Fabro showcasing himself.
We're going to get a little bit of repairs here alongside Elvis Merzlikins, so we'll get a little bit of extra chat.
Yeah, glad. Looks like Merzlikins was getting a little touch up from the equipment man there. Glad it's not anything physical, but boy, we see another overhead view there. Merzlikins doing the full splits. That could not. I don't care how much you stretch. That could not have felt all that good. But, he does what he has to do to keep this game 1-0 Calgary.
Full extension, left pad, excellent save right in tight on the forehand backhand from Jonathan Huberdeau. That looked more like his Florida Panthers self on that last save.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, for Merzlikins, he continues to play like this, and the way Columbus has been playing, look out. And again, we talked about this is a pretty good team. They're both still in the rebuilding phase, but we got two teams that could probably be part of the future, as this one will bounce way up into the air, and we will get another whistle as Merzlikins continues to skate it out.
Yeah, he's walking it off a little bit. Hockey version, just kind of skating out toward the corner, trying to stay nice and loose, maybe shaking off a little bit of pain after that big stretch. But this night's going well for the Flames so far, even though they're up just one. You got to like what you've seen so far. As a fan, I certainly do. We're back into the action, so go for it, John Hunt.
Kenzie Weegar now for Amir Monahan. Jump out of the air as the Flames try to get a piece of it now. Race for the puck. This will be won by Sharangovich, but the shot gets blocked by Dante Fabro expertly. 15:45 left to go in the third, almost at the halfway point. I'll be handing this to Cooper Hopkins. Again, if we go to OT shootout, he's got it the rest of the way. That's his home ice. As this will go now to the left side blue line. Here is Fabro off the back skate. Lets the slap shot go. Solved by Vladar in the corner. Coronado still out there as well, as this attempt is picked up by Weegar. It's turned over. Werenski now trying to get it to Kent Johnson, but he couldn't get a stick on it. That was dangerous. This is still very loose. Kicked ahead. Weegar, nice play. That was in between a phone booth, able to make that one. That was beautiful. And now the Flames try to get it the other way for Adam Fantilli, who will get the steal for Columbus, former U of M man. He's definitely got the silky set of hands, as he'll find his way, clear it in, take a hit from Coleman. He'll take a change. Vladar will hold. We'll get a draw.
Yeah, that's a great point, John, about what Weegar did to get that puck started out of the zone, because he owed one a little bit to his line mates right there. His centering attempt that he thought was a nice, secure one was absolutely not. That was probably the worst turnover of the game for the Flames. Luckily, nothing comes of it for them. Still 1-0 now, face-off win for Columbus. They have it in the O-zone.
Opportunity now near the right side. Severson, he tried to skate in and shoot near the right dot, but he lost it. Here is Aston Reese making a play from his knees. He's got Severson on the back door. Here's the spin. He'll take this D-to-D. Columbus now all of a sudden finding some pressure. You know they would as we're getting later into this third. It's 1-0. It's anybody's game right now. Spin and turn. And across the flaming sea, Severson will make the safe play, dump it in. Here is Bean with Pahal. Fumbles on it for a moment. We'll see if Calgary can get to it. It's big number 20 in Blake Coleman. They'll make a good outstretched pass near the right wing. Flames have lost their last 3 games versus the Blue Jackets, but won 7 of the previous 8. Here is Kadri. This one bounces off some bodies. This is toward the left side blue line. It's a 1-on-1. Ball on his back skate. Good defense there to deny and push in behind the cage. Here is an entry there. Big fan on a 1T, but it'll pick back up near the left side red line for Columbus. Stutter, step, and hold wrister through the traffic. This one bounces off the glass. Will go all the way down where Zach Werenski is. Use this off the bounce. It's around Huberdeau, as this will be sent in for Van Riemsdyk. And around the embankment now is Marty. Picked up off the backhand. Beautiful sauce. Werenski can walk in and shoot if he wants to. Extra pass, that one wide. Vladar down. He's working his way near the right side on the butterfly. Turnaround shot for Kirill. This one gets blocked. Now Marty overskates it. Kirill now trying to pick it back up. As this goes back to defense. Shots on goal are low. It's 18-12. The Rasmus Anderson, the only goal of the game that counts on the power play, as Werenski's goal went offside from Fantilli. 13:10 left to go in the third. John Hunter with you alongside Cooper Hopkins and Alec Nava. Didn't want to make them work too hard because you already did today, but I'm glad they can join in with this on this Remembrance night. This gets iced.
Yeah, so a little break and play right here after a good sequence. And, 13 minutes to go here in the third. Flames hanging on. But as you said it, John, there have been a couple opportunities. They haven't been the cleanest, but Columbus doing whatever they need to do to get that puck down low. They don't care if it bounces in off somebody's their nameplate, the back of their skate. They're looking to get that thing close to Bernard. They've been doing that pretty well.
Give me some thoughts here, Alec, before I jump in.
Yeah, even if it is just 10 feet in front of the net, or even if it's on a deflection, they're just doing anything if they want to tie this game up. Just 12 shots. That's a big headline for Calgary.
Yeah, that was the thing for Columbus. They had only 6, and that was pretty much staying that way for the entire second period. So this third has been better for them, and that is what they need if they want to try to get this one tied, as this will be iced against the Flames.
Yeah, and we're getting the Sportsnet stats right here. So the success at home for the Flames, it's really there. Their penalty kill at home, 90% on the road, 61.5. Also, their goal differential, +5 at home over their last 5 games. They are -12 over their last 7 on the road. So you can see big things need to happen for the Flames on the road if they want to continue to surprise everybody in the NHL.
Yeah, if they get that a little bit closer to 500 there, Cooper, they could probably find themselves in the playoff hunt.
Talk about a tale of two different teams.
Yeah, that really is the situation that we see sometimes, Alec. But again, the splits are just so dramatic. As this is now off the backhand, Fantilli will send this one out for Werenski. Werenski's jumped up in the offensive play a lot. Again, that's why he's got a ton of points anyway. Fantilli, that was dangerous across the goal mouth. He'll get it back. Here's a big slap shot. The stick just breaks in two. And now Columbus will send this one toward the net. It's going to give them enough time to get the extra player back on the ice with the stick, and Coleman makes the right play. But how many times that's got to be deflating as a defenseman to get a wide open shot in the high slot and just have the stick completely break in two. 11:50 left to go in the third as this one is kissed in off the glass. Mackenzie Yegor now try to make the safe play. He'll do so back here from Romanov. 11:40 left to go in the third. John Hunter with you. Cooper Hopkins, Alec Nava as we take this one in. It's an exciting one. Only 1-0. Peltier now. Here for Zeri, you got Peltier and Dewar have been called from the Wranglers in this game, trying to get a big 2 points here for Calgary and make sure they keep their spot in the WC in the West. This is now an opportunity now to be sent in here for Aston Reese. Rooney off the backhand. Huge hit away from the plate. Took out both the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Flames. Ryan Lomberg, and on his backhand, trying to make a move off a 1-on-1. 30 goals in the last 6 games. 5 goals per game in the stretch for Columbus, but they don't have anything right now. Lomberg now. Find it to the left side red line. He gets pasted. Justin Danforth now trying to locate as you get a nice up-close camera shot. I always love those. There's Rooney. Gets this one ahead. Here's a bomb. This one blocked the haul. Pick it back up now in his own end. This will be sent in, not iced. Both teams can take a change over Dean Evason's squad down a goal. Ryan Eska's squad wants to get those 2 points because Calgary wants to get from the 0-4 and 1 slide and get back to the right side of business. Slap shot, full sill, clear from pretty much 170. This will bounce the ball, use it off the glass now. And the defensive end turnaround. Calgary trying to locate here as this will be picked up by Columbus. Stutter step, wrister. This one blocked out in front, and Calgary Pospisil will just get this out of the way. This is now flipped here for Columbus. One more rush for them. This is dangerous in between the high slot. Jonathan Huberdeau might get the inside step backhand. A couple of stick lifts. Cooper, you get set to take it away. I think it's a good time for it.
Yeah, I was hoping for so much right there from Huberdeau. It looked like he almost created his own breakaway, but ultimately comes away with nothing. But you have to say, great effort right there. Boy, he looked so fast on his feet. Now the Flames driving down towards Merzlikins as there is 9:35 left on the clock. A good job by the netminder to poke check that thing away. Now the puck rattles around to the near boards. Backlund picks it up, going to try to center right there. That's off the skate of his former teammate, Sean Monahan. Hope to say his name a little more frequently in this third period. I haven't really seen much of him in the latter half of this game so far, so Number 23 now out there in white for the Jackets. 27 on the back of the sweater, Coronado. That he goes for that cross-ice pass to Sharangovich. Can't connect with his teammate. Now the puck is loose behind Merzlikins in the trapezoid, sent along off of the kick plate at the about the center red line right there. Eventually bounces to the Flames. Now a nice move right there for Calgary. That one is passed to himself by Walker Duehr. He got on his jets right there and was unable to complete the play. But now Zary has it as one of the referees went down. Now there's a centering pass right there. I think that was Blake Coleman. No, make that. Yes, it was Blake Coleman. My goodness, I couldn't get a read on that number. But boy, there was a good stop right there by Merzlikins. And we are looking at almost equal ozone possession time, 11 minutes and a few seconds for the Flames, and basically 11 minutes as well for Columbus. And that is why this game, as we talked about many times over and over again, has been so balanced. 1-0 the score right now, thanks to a Rasmus Anderson slap shot power play goal a little while back in the previous period. 18 shots for Calgary, just 12, as Alex pointed out, for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And now we have a puck that's loose under Vladar. I'm not sure if he had that thing covered, making 13 now. So on the 13th shot, thinking of Johnny Gaudreau tonight, of course, that is one of the more dangerous moments right there for Calgary, but Vladar stays strong.
That was good work there, Alec, wasn't it? Between Fantilli and Johnson, somehow Vladar was able to find it on that camera shot.
Somehow, some way, he located that puck at the last moment after Jonathan Huberdeau was breaking free, but a little stick shot right on Huberdeau's stick from none other than Dante Fabro. That's who we pointed out earlier during the game. That he denied a breakaway chance for Huberdeau, but then later was Fantilli, who was right at the net front, whacking at that puck. Vladar looking at the exact last moment. He didn't have it fully covered up, but the last moment located and frozen.
I am still wondering, I know this is the question of the night, is this still going to be a 2-1 game, or the Calgary Flames going to hold on to this 1-0? It's almost nail-biting time.
Almost. Who are you talking to here? Almost. Multiple question marks after that, almost. But here we are in a well-timed media break for me. We're getting the commercials, and I'm taking a deep breath because just as the Flames had most of the momentum in the second period, I feel like it's really been back and forth here. I wouldn't say I could determine a team or the other has been running away with this third.
Yeah, I don't imagine any team running away with the lead at any point because it's so tight. You just can't figure out who would be getting the next goal. Every goal is earned here in this low-scoring defensive stick-checking fest.
Elvis Merzlikins, 17 of 18. Dan Vladar had more work in his third. He's 13 of 13. Again, if you're just joining us, Rasmus Anderson from the power play, his 6 from Backlund and Nazem Kadri. That's it, and that's all. 8:11 left to go in regulation, unless we need more.
Yes, indeed, and it's myself, Cooper Hopkins, on the play-by-play now through the remainder of regulation. We'll see if we need more. It's John out on color along with Alec Nava. So we're going to have a face-off here with Michael Backlund, and he will win it promptly. Nice D-zone win there for the Flames captain. And the puck will bounce around. Now going to be picked up by Columbus. But Flames couldn't get it out of there. Now they finally do. Backlund trying to chase this down. 8 minutes exactly to go here in the third. And will we have a whistle? Yes, we will, even though Backlund continues to stick handle. And he will deliver that puck to the Zebras.
I do have to say this. Regardless of what happens in this game, I do have to give the Calgary Flames a ton of credit, considering between both of what this night means, but also, as we mentioned, 30 goals in the last 6 games for Columbus, and they're able to just 13 shots. That is a definite high water mark for Calgary. Good job there.
Yeah, no question about it. As we are back into the action here, Flames with a bouncing puck at the far half wall. It's in between Backlund skates, now picked up by Kevin Ball, big defenseman for Calgary, wearing lucky number 7 on his back. And there is a shot right there. Incredible job by the Flames to skate down that loose puck in their own offensive zone and get a shot on right there. And I could not get a number. That might have been Kevin Rooney. Now the Flames will have it. Boy, somebody just lost a glove. There's a centering pass. Sharangovich had to get his glove back on. John, I don't think I've ever seen that. And there's a bouncing puck. John, it's into the net. It's scored on a deflection. Is that Michael Backlund? Yes, it is. The captain with the standing O from Johnny Gaudreau's Father Guy. 2-0 Calgary with time ticking down.
You take it away, Alec, and I'll jump in.
Oh, that was one of the wildest bounces that we've seen here, Cooper and John. You have Rasmus Anderson was loading up at the top of the point. Yegor Sharangovich briefly lost his glove in a rather wild sequence. I don't know if we've seen anything like this ever. Sharangovich delivers it back. Then Anderson, I think it might have gotten off the leg of Michael Backwood. You always see the punching goes off the stick, but this one, no, this was off the stick. I thought it was the leg at first. The one camera angle from behind the net pulled me out, but this went off the stick as it was positioned up high. But Dean Evason is challenging this. We are getting another one.
Go ahead, Cooper.
Yeah, John, so we're going to get the overhead view here. I'm trying to see if this challenge is for offside or for high stick. And it's going to be a close one, potentially offside. And it looks like Sharangovich. Boy, it could be Sharangovich and Backlund both offside. It looks clearly that Sharangovich is offside. So we might have even Steven here with goals being waved off due to players skating across that blue line too early. Of course, I'm referencing the Zach Werenski goal that was waved away in the first period. It certainly looks like Yegor Sharangovich is about 6 inches offside before Anderson carries in. But gentlemen, what are you seeing?
I think that might be what I'm seeing as well. I do want to just mention this for Rasmus Anderson on that goal effort anyway. He was able to get the pass all the way around the horn and then come back for a slap shot deflection from Backlund. Rasmus Anderson has had himself one hell of a game.
Yeah, he has. In regards to where this goal gets overturned or not, he's been a presence all over the ice for the Flames. Offensively, defensively, team leader in blocks. Of course, he's going to get the job done anywhere. Now, Gil Sharangovich and Backlund were across the blue line before Anderson carried the puck across the line, but nonetheless, Anderson's a warrior.
Yeah, he really is. And Alec, I think you were on when we were mentioning this, but it bears repeating given the significance of the night. Rasmus Anderson, one of Johnny Gaudreau's closest friends, and he's playing like it tonight. He's playing like he's playing for his friend in a way. And we're getting multiple angles of this. This decision, gentlemen, has taken a lot longer than the one for the Werenski goal. That was, less than a 10-second review. This one, now we're up to a minute plus. And we're looking at this. It's really Sharangovich. Backlund also was close, but I think he's on. They're got to be looking at number 17 in red to determine whether the offside is going to be called here.
Well, that's the only thing I'm seeing as well, gentlemen, because whether or not you have the skate lifted, which would make it onside, but I don't think it is. I think it's superbly planted there. And as you mentioned, I think this one, if I have to guess, probably getting called back, but it is taking a very long time.
Yeah, I'm shocked it's taking longer than we anticipate. We don't know if there's a skate lift at any point, but I think the overhead camera may give us a better look at what it is. Plus, we have to talk about puck location. Where's the puck at the time of when it crosses the blue line? And where Sharangovich is in Backlund skates at that same time?
Yeah, speaking of time, the clock just keeps ticking up here on the amount of time necessary to get a decision here. The referees really haven't moved. They're in conversation, you think, with Toronto. Toronto's been taking multiple looks, and presumably we all have the benefit of the looks that they do. And now the headphones are off, boys, so we're going to get a call here. And John or Alec, if you want to call it when it's decided, you go ahead and give it to us.
Go ahead and take it, Alec, when you get it.
All right. No goal. They wave it off. Backlund and Sharangovich were indeed offside. There are no skates lifted. And honestly, I believe it may have been the right call knowing their positions.
Yeah, it's John. I want to get your thoughts too. It's still a tough. I know that Columbus felt it. Now, of course, I bring this up as I feel it as a Flames fan, but it's just one of those things where, at the beginning of the play, it's not a direct, but much more a very indirect result, or I should say factor in the goal scoring sequence. But still, that's what the rule is, and a good call by the coaching staff for the visitors right there. So we're even in that category. We've got a goal waved off for each squad now. It's still 1-0. Now Kadri with the puck tries to center. He almost centered it to himself as it bounced around some sticks and skates of the Jackets. It's held right now by Ivan Provorov. He will give that to Severson. Severson looks to go for that stretch pass right there. And a good stick check right there for the Flames by Jake Bean. Although we could just start calling him Ethan Bean, John, if you want to. We just mix up the two players, we'll have some fun with it. Hey, they're both defensemen, who cares? So there we go, centering pass right there, and that is going to be bouncing around between Matthew Olivier's skates. And a shot there saved by Dan Vladar. Good shot right on by Provorov through traffic. Not sure if Vladar saw that until the very last split second. Either way, he flashed that pad and makes the right leg save. Now Coleman's down low. He gets checked. Boy, could have been a cross check right there, but just good defense by Columbus with 6:15 in the third. They have got to start thinking about putting the pressure on. Nice cross-ice pass. Coleman's still out there, wants to do it himself. Also one of Johnny Gaudreau's good friends, still close with the Gaudreau family. You know, he would love to get on the score sheet tonight. One thing that John and I talked about, he's got to get going in terms of point production a little bit. Now, Uyghur looking for that slap shot, fakes twice. He's going to flick this puck around the boards and all the way to the far corner, picked up there by Columbus and taken by Werenski. Inside 6 minutes to go now, 19 shots for the Flames, 14 for Columbus. It's a defensive battle, as Alec has so correctly pointed out. Nice job right there on the forecheck by Kirill. And now Backlund, he battles for the puck with Van Riemsdyk. Vladar tight to that near post. Van Riemsdyk tries to lift it over the shoulder. Puck is loose. And it is held now, still bouncing. We will get a whistle. Vladar had it under the glove just long enough, but Van Riemsdyk almost goes top cheese.
Man, oh man, there were so many Flames funneled the net. They couldn't get a chance to get Van Riemsdyk there toward the right side of the red line, as you said. Talk about the goal that was just taken away. You wonder if it's going to give Columbus some energy. It's the main thing right now to keep those shot blocks and keep it clean. It's a big 2 points on the line as we go to break.
And Provorov's shot took a wild bounce off a skate as well before the break.
Yeah, it certainly did. And we saw that courtesy of the slow-mo replay. My good, I think it went off of Hall's maybe his heel. But either way, Bedard put himself in good position, ends up kicking that thing out. Yeah, Columbus has had some good high danger moments here in this third. They don't have anything to show for it in terms of the score. Still 1-0. And again, could have been 2-0. It was Michael Backlund who had the deflection goal off the center of that stick shaft, but ultimately Sharangovich offside. And so we remain in this defensive battle with the scoreline of 1-0.
Again, I wonder what this will do going forward for the Flames and for the Blue Jackets, regardless of what happens in the result. And what I mean by that is Flames have been able, during the road, they struggled a little bit on the 0-4-1. They've been so good at home. This is a big opportunity to get 2 points for Calgary to kind of right the ship because Columbus has been so hot. Maybe for Columbus, I know you asked me in the previous question whether or not the Wings loss for Calgary was a one-off. You got to try to make sure it's a one-off for Columbus because they've been playing well of late. You might get frustrated by some of the defense that you've seen today, but you can't let it stick in your head.
No, you cannot let this be etched at the back of your memories, despite even if you lose, because if you manage to get this win on top, good for you, but this loss shouldn't stink.
Yeah, and as we get toward the end of this commercial break here, I'm thinking about John's prediction was, again, I said I'd love to see Blake Coleman get on the score sheet. He does want that as well, and he's been around it. He's had some good chances in his last shift. He was close there, down low in the crease area as well. So keep your eye on number 20 in red. And I still will say I'm going to hang to it, even though he hasn't been as noticeable as I would have hoped. Number 23 in white, of course, Sean Monahan. You know that he has got a heavy heart tonight, but he wants to lift one up and over Dan Vladar for his friend Johnny Gaudreau. And we are here back at the Scotiabank Saddledome on a very special evening. Cooper Hopkins along with Alec, Nava, and John Ott. 5:12 on the clock. It is a 1-0, ever so tight scoreline advantage for the home team, the Calgary Flames. So Backlund's line is out there again. Plenty of ice time for those boys. And now centering pass is taken by Columbus, and they are going to come in offside. And that will be a stoppage of play. So face-off coming up.
Right at the 5-minute marker, you got 19 shots on goal for Calgary, 14 for Columbus, and still anybody's hockey game. And it's going to be the age-old question, how many more minutes is it going to take before Columbus starts to go with that extra attacker? Probably just 2.5 minutes or so. That's what it's looking like.
Yeah, you'd think so. That's just a small handful of shifts, and we're going to have another whistle right away as the puck bounces out of play. So 4:56 on the clock. Alex, are you thinking that Columbus has the energy here to make the push and tie this game, or do you think the Flames have dominated enough to keep that scoreline and get the win?
Probably that challenge may have given them a boost in energy, and they were firing on all cylinders in those last few sequences. Probably that challenge may have gotten them the energy they needed.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think you can't discount the mental aspect of that, where you could have been down 2-0 in a game where any offense is hard to come by, but there's still just that one lucky bounce or one snipe shot away from tying this thing with 4:35 to go. Now a broken stick on the ice. We're starting to collect those, John, as we often do. Now a partial breakout for the other team. Now it's going to be Gaudreau. Of course I would say Gaudreau when I meant to say Huberdeau. There are some similarities there, but it is definitely number 10, not number 13 for the Flames. But that's to you, Johnny. Jonathan Huberdeau tried to do a little toe drag right there and unfortunately did a little too much. He took himself out of a shooting opportunity, which again, John, this will be something we touch on regardless of the outcome of the game. Alec, you too, would love to hear your thoughts. Jonathan Huberdeau just doesn't seem to have that trigger finger anymore when it comes to the shot. He always looks to pass or do a little bit extra. So we're inside 4 minutes to go now. We'll leave that for the post-game discussion. 19 shots for the Flames, 15 for Columbus, and the puck is on the stick of Dean for Calgary. He'll shovel this thing along. Now Blake Coleman's out on the ice. He's somebody we said to keep an eye out on. Flames are going to hold this one in the ozone, do a good job of cycling it back down low. It's picked up by Coleman there. He tries to fight off Dante Fabro, and now this one will be taken up. Now, it could be a tripping call right here. Yes, indeed, immediately whistled. It is Dante Fabro, another penalty against Columbus. He shakes his head, but there is no denying that. He will sit, and it will be a man advantage for the Flames.
Well, Blake Coleman might not have scored the goal already, but he might have made the play of the game by forcing a trip there. That is something you cannot have for Dean Evason's squad. And now you have an opportunity for Calgary. You don't need to score here, but you can at least salt some of that time away.
Yeah, a goal here would do wonders in sealing this game up. Possibly a 2-0 victory would be sweet, but you don't need a goal. You just need to make sure that Columbus does not get the puck for the last 3:33.
Yeah, boys, John, I love the way that you summarized that. I think that so often, and understandably, we think goals, we think assists, we think big plays, we want to see the slap shot, we want to see the snipe. That's what Rasmus Anderson delivered for the Flames' only goal earlier. We love to see the big hit. Sure, some fisticuffs, it's hockey, but also those plays, we saw Kadri do it earlier in the game that drew the Flames' first penalty, making those individual efforts that result in plays that get you special team situations. That is what Blake Coleman just did. He was all by himself in the trapezoid behind Elvis Merzlikins, and he drew that penalty beautifully. You made a great point, my friend.
No, you absolutely called it there. And again, I would say the same thing as you mentioned in our last broadcast together alongside Connor Zary. We saw him do a lot of that. And those are the type of things that win you games, especially in games like this. We'll see right now what the Flames go ahead and address. As Alex said, they don't need a goal here. I'm thinking, one more would be great, but right now I just want to see them make the smart play, take these 2 points that they need.
Just run out some more clock, take the 2 points, and just roll with it. You've got yourself a possible tight defensive victory in your grasp.
Yeah.
Make sure that Columbus does not give up and get any high danger chances towards the net.
Yeah, boys, and we're getting a little package right here of some of the replays of the Flames drawing penalties, which they've done so well throughout this game, and it could end up really being the big difference. The Flames have looked great when they have put pressure on Columbus. They've done that frequently. They've done that since the beginning of the game, and now it's Fabro at 16:27 for tripping and a nice ozone win. The face-off will go to Calgary. They're going to dump this down at Anderson. And with 3:20 on the clock in the third and 1:45 on the power play, there is a clear by the Blue Jackets. But the Flames in great position here to potentially double their lead, maybe put this game away. Now skating out for Calgary is Miramonov. He's going to give this to the captain of the Flames. That is Backlund. Boy, on the forehand is Merzlikins. That one's taken, though, by Columbus and coming out a little one-on-one action here. They're going to take it all the way down to get a shot right on Dan Vladar. So the 16th shot of the night is a short-handed one turned aside by the right pad and stick of number 80 in net for the Flames. 1:15 to go, and a big turnover. Also, one of the Flames goes down. Boy, another ugly power play here. You love that they can get the man advantage, but the last couple have not looked all that clean. Now with Mackenzie Weegar, he's able to stick handle his way out of his own end. Now with the puck is Matt Coronado. He'll dump for Sharangovich. He was involved in that offside play earlier that resulted in Michael Backlund's deflection goal being called off. Now 2:20 to go here in the third period, 45 seconds in the power play. Weegar gets a nice pass tucked underneath the stick of Kent Johnson. There's a centering pass and a bit of a whipped shot right there. That was teed up for Coronado to go one time all the way. He only got about 30% of it. Now there's a snapshot right on. It's into the back of the net. It's Kevin Ball, lucky number 7, sends it home. It's 2-0 Flames, and boys, that could be it.
And I don't think Elvis Merzlikins ever tracked the credit Jonathan Huberdeau with the traffic on in front of the net. Power play goal, this one big. It certainly looks like the Calgary Flames are going to take this one.
Yeah, it will be. And even though I did say that they don't need to score, they just need to prevent the Blue Jackets from getting any high-danger looks. Well, they didn't give the Blue Jackets any high-danger looks throughout that power play. Kevin Ball threw Sean Monahan's screen right in front. All straight away as Jonathan Huberdeau took away the eyes of Elvis Merzlikins as he's wondering, where's the puck? Where's the puck? And right the moment he found it, it was at the back of his net off Ball's long shot from distance. Far side, the goal, bar down. Well, not exactly bar down, but just inside.
Yeah, you guys really summed it up well, and I have to tip my cap to Jonathan Huberdeau. He, again, we talked about what Kadri did, what Coleman did to draw those penalties. Well, Huberdeau, he may not be in the score sheet tonight, but he made that play happen. That goal went in because of his screen. Ball was smart enough to get the puck on net. Merzlikins, no vision on that one. It's a power play goal, the first of the year for lucky number 7, Kevin Ball. Assist to, well, yeah, actually give him an apple on that one. Huberdeau with the second assist, Weegar with the primary assist. Now a break the other way. There's a shot to the left of the cage of Dan Vladar. That one's by Voronkov. And with just over 90 seconds to go here, you got to think the Jackets are desperate, and the Flames would love to hang on to that big goose egg in the Columbus side of the scoreboard. So Merzlikins sneaking out of the blue paint here as Columbus gets it up to the flaming sea at center ice. They'll get this thing onside. Columbus now with a shot. Vladar out of the net just slightly to turn that thing aside, and the puck will rattle all the way back down to the Columbus end. 1:15 on the clock and counting. Empty net now for Columbus. Cooper Hopkins alongside John Ott and Alec Nava. Boys, this has been a good one. Flames are in a good position here to take this thing with 65 seconds to go here in regulation. They'll rattle this puck around. It will be held in at the far point and then rattled down low. That one is flicked aside. I think Vladar may have had to have the glove on that one. Either way, the puck was bouncing dangerously. It could have been 2-1 right there. Inside a minute to go, make it 48 seconds. Here in the third, empty net for Columbus Blue Jackets. The Flames are leading by a score of 2-0. They're going to try to chase this one down. Huberdeau's out there. No icing called. He's on the forecheck. Huberdeau is against Dante Fabro. He tries to take it over. Flames would love to make it 3-0. 33 seconds to go in the third. Threes everywhere except in the Flames side of the scoreboard. It's 2-0. Empty net. Flames are able to get this one out of their own zone back to neutral ice offside, but it's going to be waved down. And now Sharon Govich into the center of the cage, and it is over, boys. 3-2 is your score. We can't call it a final yet, but 19.8 on the clock, and there's a shot of Johnny Gaudreau's daughter. It's a little loud for her, but those Flames fans aren't going to hold back, and neither am I. I got a smile on my face here on a very special and emotional night. So happy to see this Calgary Flames team come away with a win. Just 20 seconds to go here.
Give me some final thoughts here, Alec, on that goal.
It's an emotional win here for the Flames right after that empty net goal that they fired it down from Yegor Sharangovich. A perfect night. The Blue Jackets, they had their perfect night against the Flames. It's now the Flames' turn to deliver it on to even this season's series. This was perfection from start to finish for Calgary. Tight defense, and they shut off the Columbus Blue Jackets to give them a donut hole for tonight's game. Oh, the Control family has to be happy.
You're absolutely right. They certainly are, as all the Flames fans take their feet here. 2-1-0. The green lights come on. It's a win for the Calgary Flames in the Saddle Dome, and I love that on that empty netter, who would have thunk it? Michael Backlund, who had a goal waved off due to offside, and none other than Blake Coleman, one of Johnny Gaudreau's best friends. They get the assist. There goes Sean Monahan. I want to tip my cap to him as well. It must have been extremely difficult. Tears were shed earlier tonight as he took that ceremonial face-off against Michael Backlund, his former teammate. But what a wonderful win for the Calgary Flames. And here's to Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew, who should still be here. And thanks a lot, boys, for doing this tonight. This was a special one as a fan. And I know that you guys, of course, may not feel the same deep feelings as I do for Calgary and its NHL team. I know that you enjoyed watching Johnny Gaudreau as well. He was one of the stars of the hockey world that went out far too soon.
Absolutely, Cooper. This is a game that we've covered a lot between the Calgary Flames, and I am so happy for you they're able to actually do this one today and have the result that we did tonight. I think that's exactly what we would have wanted to see tonight in a good 3-0 shutout, good bounce back there for the Flames. A lot of smiles on a difficult night such as this. The only thing you want to see now is continue moving forward here for the Flames as they continue to stockpile some wins, and we get a really cool camera shot from Sportsnet.
Oh, this is emotional. This is incredible. It's a storybook.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Yep.
It was so cool to watch everything they've done here on Sportsnet, where I was seeing all the jerseys now, the pictures, the number 13, everybody with the camera lights out, everything we saw in the beginning, and a dominant Flames victory. Everything that we wanted to see tonight, we did. And I'm so glad to be among you gentlemen to call this one. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Alec, I feel the same way that you do, and there are hugs from the entire Flames roster for Guy Gaudreau. The fact that he has a smile on his face after the loss of his sons and his mother as well, Jane. It's absolutely wonderful to see, and coverage closes on Sportsnet, and I know we need to wrap things up here as well. But again, I can't thank you enough. I'm glad I could share this one with you guys. Alex, thanks for coming on. Really fun and a great night for Calgary. I'm looking forward to hopefully doing more. This will be one that I remember for a long time. Final score again for the Saddle Dome, 3-0 Calgary, and all those buddies from Gaudreau's time with the Flames. They got some points. And you know what? If Johnny Gaudreau's looking down, he got one for his second team, Columbus, a few days back, and then he got one for his first team for the Flames tonight. So each team got one in that season series.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you guys for joining in on this one. I'm glad that we were all able to share and a part of this because the hockey world is still hurting and they're going to be hurting for a long time. But this was a special night in between both of these squads, and I'm so happy to be among you gentlemen. Thank you for this broadcast.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Talk soon.
See you, Cooper. Thanks, Alec. Appreciate it, buddy. See you guys.
Well, again, there was a lot of heavy hearts on this game and everything else. But as we said, in between myself, John Odd, Cooper Hopkins, and Alec Nava, who would normally call games with, for all three of us to be able to join in, and Alec pulling double duty essentially because he did just cover NBA Cup with the New York Knicks. That will take this one in. I humbly appreciate it, guys. This was a lot of fun. It was an emotional night. We got the pregame ceremony put in there as well, all the postgame stuff from Sportsnet. This will be a game that we won't forget for a long time. So I'm glad that we could take this one in, and I could share this with all you guys. And I'll be back Thursday to cover my alma mater, and then after the Sharks game on Saturday, we'll get back into the swing of things again to cover NHL games in its entirety. I'll mix in some NBA Cup with Alec, and we'll continue to move along as we push into 2025. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that is where we're going to be. You guys have a good one. Calgary takes this one. They win 3-0. Peace.